Welcome everyone to the PJScast. I'm your host Pierce, joined alongside of all three of my co-hosts, Schmitty, Jimmy, and Reagan. It's been a while. It's been a couple of weeks. Didn't really get much done all month of October, just a lot of things, and then I was sick for a week. But don't worry, November we're bouncing back strong here, and we got a lot to talk about here. What do we want to talk about first? Do we want to talk about how the New Jersey Devils are actually a good team this year? Do we want to talk about how the Toronto Maple Leafs don't have a goalie and they need to blow everything? What do we want to talk about first here?
I think we should talk about that the Chicago Blackhawks are in a playoff spot because that's the only time they're ever going to be in one this season. So, I think they're currently the second wild card team if the season were to end there after 10 games or 12 games, whatever.
We would be second wild card, yeah. Right behind Edmonton.
Wild to me.
Yes, sir. All three of my teams are in the playoffs right now. Seattle is doing well. Edmonton's there.
Are cracking.
The Blackhawks are in there. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah.
No, but it's been a fun start. I mean, I think Jimmy and I were talking about it last night. They're just a scrappy bunch. That's really
what they are. They're dogs after me every single night. Like Richardson may not get them to start on time, but every time they get into the game, they are relentless. Absolutely.
60% of the time, it works all the time or whatever.
Honestly.
Yeah.
It's kind of the way the season's going right now.
60% of the game is basically what they play, yeah. So I think you nailed it on the head.
Mm-hmm.
But I totally butchered that quote, but whatever.
Right? But it's just funny. This is why the sport is the dumbest sport ever because the Hawks – on paper, had a better roster last year.
Ass sport out there.
Didn't get a win for 9 games, and this team's got 5 in the first 12. And I think that's their best start in the last 4 years, ironically.
I think 2018-19 was the last time they were above 500 at this point.
Yeah, and then they fired Joe Quenneville. That was fun. Anyways, yeah, they just love firing coaches the first week of November. I think when they played Winnipeg on Saturday, it was the 1-year anniversary of the Colliton
pretty much
fire.
A year to the day that Colliton got fired, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, they've come a long way. They're playing team defense. I mean, they're playing a lot better defense without Seth Jones than I thought they would be playing. Because Seth Jones is out for a month with the thumb injury. So I mean, I got to give Richardson credit. That's all I want to say about it.
It's because of Jack Johnson. Did you see that Johnson and Jones is a top 3 defensive pair?
Jack Johnson just decided I'm going to be good again. Let's go. This is awesome. McCabe, I think, has looked great.
Yankee pals working together. Who would have thunk it?
Caleb Jones is a little bit of Jekyll and Hyde, but the Jekyll's a little better than the Hyde right now. So this is fun because he's basically stepped into that top power play and hasn't skipped a beat.
You know what he's playing Eric Gustafson.
Yeah, Gustafson. Yeah. There it is.
And it works for him, honestly. That's a good mold for him to fall into. I'd rather a defenseman fall into his strengths more than try to fit a square peg into a round hole and make him a defensive defenseman. That's not what he is. Just use him for what he is. And
knows who he is. Luke Richardson knows who he is. They're so real for that. They try to make him so he's not.
Got 6 assists in 12 games or so. I mean, that's not bad.
And that's after being scratched the first few games. I think he had 6 assists in 6 games.
Also, just love that Jared Tenorti goes up the ice and throws a backhand on net at least once a game. That one day it's gonna work, and I'm gonna laugh so hard.
It's like us when we were playing ESHL and Threes Eliminators. I'm one of these days I'm gonna get that slap shot.
It's the same thing, honestly.
That backhanded.
I'd rather go 0 for 30 than 0 for 9.
Yeah, that means you lost confidence. I love that.
Yes, sir.
But I just wanted to say another thing with the lines. They're playing. I can't remember the last time I saw a Blackhawks team actually try with all 4 lines. It's usually a 1 or 2 line team.
Or you just find out by night.
You could argue it's been since the 16-17 season when we
honestly
since
Panarin.
You can throw 4 lines out there and not get murdered, and that's the huge thing. They're not getting murdered. Every game, pretty much every game they're in, except with the exception for the first Colorado game and the last game they play against Winnipeg. Every game this season they've been in, it's either one goal.
Yeah. Every game that's gotten out of hand, I think, has the same running thing, which is they take a bunch of penalties, and that way that penalty kill works, you can't keep taking penalties because they're too aggressive, and lanes are going to eventually start to open. And like that's just kind of like that. It's a live by the sword, die by the sword penalty kill. That's basically what it is. Like they play super hyper aggressive, and sometimes you're gonna get those. Like if you can play some power play. Like I remember the Seattle game, that penalty kill worked extremely well against because they kind of move the puck slow in their own end. But if you play a team like a Colorado, like a Winnipeg, who could just move that puck like tape to tape, cross ice as easy as it can be, it's really hard for them to stop those pucks. But I got to give him credit. He's really playing to this team's strengths, and that's something that you can't say about the Hawks. Like you said, for the last 5 years, I would say. Like you're not making the Jason Dickinson line the offensive line. Like Jason Dickinson's line is doing exactly what they should do. The fourth line's doing exactly what they should do. The top 6 lines are generating actual zone time, which I don't think we could have said like even last year.
No, you couldn't. You couldn't. No.
There's just a lot of stuff to like. Like, yeah, the chances may not be high danger. Yeah, it may not be flashy hockey, but like if this is the kind of hockey they have to play to be a competitive team, I'm completely fine.
You look at like the advanced stats; it's not there, but like it's like we said, it's a scrappy team. Like it's not a.
They're good behind. They're beyond your statistics at this point. Okay.
No, you're right. I gotta watch the game on my graphs on my Excel spreadsheets. You were totally.
Last I checked, they weren't bringing Excel spreadsheets under the ice, so I'm not really worried about your numbers.
That's news to me.
Wow.
Exactly.
I've been watching it wrong this whole time. Wow. You know what? Maybe I gotta watch it.
I feel like Lil Yachty with Drake right now. I got you, bro. Just watch the players, bro. Oh shit. Oh, okay.
Oh shit, you're right. All right.
Yeah.
And
there's been so many surprises with the team so far. Like, it's hard to find any negatives really, because you look at the goaltending. Like, even Peter Mrazek, like he's back from injury, good, because he just throughout his whole career he's had injury issues. But like Alex Stalock, I've actually had fun watching Alex Stalock. I do not care. I love that he's chaotic. It's actually fun to watch him play.
Troy Murray,
and I mean, he's made saves. Like he's got above 900. So like, and again, like we've said this, like with the Blackhawks, you're kind of just looking for positive stories. Like Alex Stalock, this guy wasn't even playing last year. He played something like 2 games in like 3 seasons before he signed here. The fact he's even playing games and winning games and being a decent goalie right now, when you don't know if he's going to play next year or not, I think that's a great story. Arvid Soderblom is the best goalie in this organization. That organization.
He's been incredible.
Too much talking. But
Stevie, let this man focus.
You know what? I want to let Stevie take over. I'll let her spit her facts onto the mic. No, but Arvid Soderblom, from like a pure skill standpoint, he's the best goalie in this organization. Like he's the goalie of the future. I know it's like he's played a few games in the NHL, but just even watching him last year, I remember he looked so shaky in those few games that he played when he did get
called. Looks like a completely different player. He
looks so calm and poised. You just see everything that's there, like the size and the calmness of poise. Again, it's like hard to evaluate goalies, but he's saving pucks at the NHL level. He's doing it in Rockford. Kind of a small sample size. Like I only think he has a 900 save percentage this year, but you gotta give him more time. And with all the goalie injuries, and hopefully once everything settles back in, he'll go back down there and kill it with Rockford. I have no doubt about that.
It's funny. He and Stalock, they have like almost polar opposite play styles, but both work in their own way to an extent. Which I find really funny. Like you look at Soderblom, he's extremely conservative.
Of gold.
Soderblom's like Lankinen a lot. Like Lankinen was extremely conservative in his crease. Soderblom knows his size and uses it to his advantage to be conservative in the crease. He has a great glove, which I think was not something that was touted. But like I get, like you said, small sample size, but he's been playing very good competition in the games that he's played. It's not like he's playing scrubs. Like he was stopping Kyle Connor one-timers on Saturday. Like this is not an easy task. It really gives you some positive like outlooks though for the future, because he's 23 if I recall correct, or 24.
23, yeah.
Yeah, so he's still got room to grow. Like this isn't like a Lankinen situation where he's like 25, or this isn't like he's still very young. And honestly, I don't blame the Blackhawks if they're going to send him down in a couple days, like when everyone gets healthy. Like put him in a winning situation, get him in that culture.
Get him reps, that's all that matters.
Yeah, there's no need for a young goalie to be on this team of all teams. Just you're just going to sink your confidence at the end of the day. Though, like you said, I can't get over how calm he looks. He looks like a veteran goaltender coming in and playing games. He looks fantastic. And like you said, really, it's hard to evaluate goalies, and obviously no one wants to get ahead of themselves, but he looks pretty damn good. He looks really fucking good doing it.
That's really the whole thing with this team. Like, it's such a small sample size. We're 12 games in. Like, you just gotta look at like what you see right now, and it's nothing but positives for the most part. And like 4 games he's played, 1-2-1, 277 goals against average, but a 924 save percentage.
He should be, and if we're being honest, he should probably have at least two wins because they blew a 3-1 lead against Buffalo when he was in net. Like, there are games where he has played extremely well, and the team's just giving out on him. So, like, that's why I was happy when he got his first career win, because for the longest time, like, every game, I feel like played one of the worst defensive games they played this season. Like, I don't know if you guys remember that Columbus year where Line, I think, had a hat trick, and it was like 7-4, and they were just letting up chances left, right, and center on him. I'm like, this is not what you do for your young goalie. And I go back to the coaching, man. Like, the players have bought in. They're playing very good 5-on-5, and that translates to very, like, if they're only letting up these goals in the power play, that's a fixable thing. Like, it's not like they're a bad 5-on-5 team. So, like, it's really going to help your goalies at the end of the day is what I'm trying to reference. Like, even if they're going to have their
Alex Stalock, like, he's has a 3-2-1 record, 293 goal against average, and a 914 save percentage. Like, you get that out of a backup, you are tickled pink. You are running to the bank, blah, 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 blah. You are happy with it.
Oh, yeah. And Stalock's had some memorable games, too. Honestly, he almost had a shutout against the Panthers if they could have just – like, Panthers were knocking on the door late in the third, but he's looked good against good teams. Like, I mean, that 1-0 – like, the first game he played in 2 years we talked about was like a 35-save loss to Vegas where they lost 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
Throw him to the fire. Let's see if he fucking doesn't burn. He is not burned yet. I mean, except for the part where he got hurt. But we don't talk about that.
Yeah. No, even in games like the Edmonton game we were at, you know,
what happened at that game? Surely nothing bad happened.
Yeah, nothing. No, they were.
Surely Evander Kane didn't try to murder Alex Stalock or anything. No.
Evander Kane would never do such a thing like that. What are you talking about? Are you on even right now?
Obviously, there are going to be games, you know, where they let up a 6-piece from Connor McDavid and company. But even in those games, he's looked sharp. I mean, I can't think of a game where he was really the fault for anything. You know, I really can't think of any time Stalock has really looked down this year, which it's pretty nice to say that.
Like, yeah, he's gonna have his moments, but like, who cares if he's gonna make some miraculous saves like he's made? Like, yeah, goalies are gonna let up goals. Who would have thought? Exactly. I mean, this is the best way possible. He's an EASHL goalie. Like, I mean that in the best way possible.
No, there have been multiple times Troy Murray has gotten, and I mean this, he's gotten giddy on the broadcast. He's like, "Oh, I love watching Alex Stalock play."
Troy Murray's the best part of the broadcast now, by the way. I want to point that out.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Fantastic.
Well, like, it's just fun. Like, you could tell the moments where, like, Vossa tries to make a joke and it doesn't stick, and then Murray has to, like, work around it. It's hilarious.
Yeah, anyways. Yeah.
But, like, Murray's, like, after the CU goal a couple days ago, he got super excited for, like, his commentary's been great. I love it.
He's exactly what Vossa's needs right now. You need someone like for, you know, would have been nice to have an Eddie Olczyk, but Troy Murray is also.
Well, at least he gets to cover a winning team. You know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey, come on.
True.
We're 5-5-2. We're above Batman 500. Well, we're at that.
Listen, if you told me we were going to be 5-5-2 in our first 12, I wouldn't have believed you. So it's pretty cool that they're that right now. Like, I think we talked about this in the 2021 season where they started off kind of hot in the like COVID season. It was like, let's just enjoy it while we can because, like, you know,
that's not
dam's gonna break eventually. We'll just
and like they definitely like there's definitely a difference with like them playing underneath Luke Richardson, but I think some of that shine's gonna wear off. Like we saw this with Derek King last year. Like they made some defensive change. I think they were like, what did they win? Like 4 of the first 4 games with Derek King, and then kind of went back down to earth after. I think we're gonna see a bit of that with the Blackhawks. And are they gonna finish dead last? Maybe not, but I'd be incredible. I don't even know what I'd do if they made the playoffs. They're finishing in the outside the like They're gonna have a top 10 pick.
My dad loves having this conversation with me. I told this to Jimmy yesterday. I was like, my dad's an eternal optimist with this team. So he's just like, so what do you do if this team's in a playoff spot in January? I was like, well, you cross that bridge when you get there, because I got to see it to believe it. Like
that's the whole thing. It's like not only with the playoffs, but with the trade deadline coming up with like Patrick and Jonathan Taves, we don't know what's gonna happen. I don't think this team is gonna make the playoffs, but we just got. It's very cliche, but it's very much a day by day process. You just gotta live in the moment and just enjoy the wins,
honestly. And like I think like I don't like everyone's got their own opinion on this, but like it's almost a win-win the way they're playing right now, because either they're gonna get you a hell of a haul at the deadline, especially Taves, he's having a great start to the season, or like from the way it's looked, they've kind of bought into Richardson in this new system, so it's starting to look like those extensions might be a thing if they're open to it. Obviously, it's got to be Davidson's open to it, which is always the thing at the end of the day. Like, we got to know what the GM's thinking. We don't know what he's thinking. We'll definitely know his plan over the next 12 months. But at least they're not like 1-11 and you're pissing off your core players. And like that's just not the way I want to see him go out the door. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're pieces of shit. I understand that. They have had tremendous careers as players, and they don't deserve to be just shoved
Let's say
out.
that they'll have statues outside the United Center sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And
Holly Hall has a statue. That's all you need.
Yeah, they're like, fuck me, Jesus. This team is just a whole. Yeah, whatever. Like, but like, there's just great stories on this team. Like Kurashev's had a great year. I think Radish has really developed into a good middle six forward. Mastomi's looked good on the top line. Yeah, he's cooled off a little bit, but he's looked good on the power play, commanding. Like their power play is starting to remind me a lot more of how it looked in the days in Quinville, where they would have a left shot on the left side, a left shot on the right side. You have that left-handed defenseman at the top. Everyone's moving around because, like, now that you have all those left-handed shots in the power play, everyone can just rotate. And it's really making that power play have some lanes open up and stuff. And they're kind of simplifying it too a little bit. Like especially the second unit, they're just kind of like throwing stuff on and go like Jimmy. I think I talked to you about this.
They've for so many years they just passed it, trying to get it to Kane, trying to force it to Brinky. You just gotta simplify it.
Just throw that crap on net. Go chase the rebound. It wonders. And you have players who like doing that. Domi, Taves, Athanasiou. Kurashev actually gets in there more than people will give him credit for. Like, I mean,
Kurashev diversified his game. Like, he's not just a skill guy. Like, he's fast and he can like get to the net. He's not gonna get knocked on his ass all the time.
He's working on the walls. He wasn't doing the stuff he's doing this year last year, which I really got to my capture.
When they first drafted him, the biggest thing about his game you could always notice was his work on the walls, his body work, his edge work. And you're seeing he's not the only one, rounding his game out, but you see with him especially, like he's using what he's got. I feel like a lot of these guys, we'll talk about guys who have gone out and have improved their game again, but I feel like so many guys lost their confidence last year. So many guys were like, hell, look at the team. I don't even have to tell you what happened last year or anybody listening. You know what happened, and this team was
listen to a podcast from this time last year at the exact same date and like listen to us, listen to what we were talking about.
And you're seeing a team with guys on new teams, you're seeing with guys that are still on the team. Guys are finding their games again. It's just like it's kind of a found money thing for them. Like
there's no pressure. They're just going in there, taking it day by day, but just game by game, having fun. That's all they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was always going to be.
They're not overcomplicating things. Yeah. They're just going out there playing their ass off. It's not pretty, but like they're 5-5-2. So,
and I honestly think one thing that gets underrated in all this is there's no shuffling of the deck chairs with this team right now. Richardson seems very dedicated to these lines and developing chemistry with these lines. I can't tell you how many times Carlton would blender the lines after 2 or 3 games.
Even Coach Q did that too.
Quinville did it. King did it. All of them did it. This isn't like a shot at him. Like all these former coaches did that. Through 12 games, Richardson I think has made like 2 or 3 line changes, and it's usually just maybe to give a guy rest, or in the case of Tyler Johnson getting hurt, Kurashev got bumped up. But he's stuck true to those lines and let them develop chemistry, and you've seen like the rewards of like what you've done, because I'm sorry, that Taves line is extremely good on the cycle 5-on-5. Every game they have at least 2 shifts where they have that puck in the offensive zone for a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and it's chances from Radish, chances from Kershaw, chances from the point, and then after the play you got Taves barking at everyone, telling them, all right, well, we're going to go here next time to get a chance, and then if they do exactly that, like, you're just seeing them start to develop that chemistry, and you didn't really see that a lot in previous years. They kind of just, like, stuck to the one thing that worked, and then everything else you kind of just figure it out on the fly. Like Kershaw's a perfect example. Last year he was second line for like 5 games, and then Colleton was like, "Yeah, your fourth line is scratched now. Bye, you're done." Like, and now
guys like they did that with Yokoharu,
did it with Doc,
like fuck you, and they did it with like both, like they did it with so many of the young players. And
well, Richardson had said that when he came in here that the communication was just basically not even there with this team.
Yeah,
that's so I feel it's very underrated. It's just simple communication. And coaches, when you're not bought into something, when you're not going in there night in, night out wanting to play, little stuff like that just starts to wash away. When you're not dialed in every night, there's those little things aren't there. They're gone. Then you have to get that back. And well, I mean, we've seen what that does and what it's done for them.
Oh yeah, it's just fun to watch, man. It's fun to watch.
Dude, I can't think of a negative with this team. I can't.
I will say
Like,
I've been bummed because I've been super busy lately with like work and everything.
Haven't we all?
Yeah, so I've missed a couple games, and since they had an early game Saturday, I was like, cool, I can watch the Hawks while I get ready for the Fuel game. And that's like the one game where they just like didn't play the best. I was like,
yeah,
dang it.
Come on, Hawks.
It's always that early game in Winnipeg. I feel like once a year they get it, and they never play well in it.
They're just bad in Winnipeg.
He got fired. They lost in Winnipeg.
They're just always bad in Winnipeg. They've been that way ever since the new Winnipeg Jets showed up, too.
And the thing was, that Winnipeg game was fine up until Caleb Jones turned it over short. And then the game kind of went off.
He really is Eric Gustafson.
I think I missed that because I missed like probably like half of the second and all of the third because I had to drive to the game. But you know what? Whatever.
I mean, listen, like the way we were talking about him 2 months ago, like when I would talk to Pierce about him, he'd be like, "Yeah, I'm not watching him this year. Like it's just not going to be a fun watch." Like we would literally tell the podcast listeners, like, if you're going to go do something else, go do something else because this is not worth watching this year. But like
there are a couple of times, especially like
I'm actually excited to watch this year, and I never thought I would say that.
Like they played like that 2-1 game against the Kings. Yeah, it wasn't like high octane offense. Some scrappy hockey, man. Yeah.
It's a fun hockey regardless.
Well, there was that game against Vegas, which I think was also the night the Bears just played like shit. And
that's that Commander game. Oh, baby.
Oh, boy.
That was like the turning point for Fields, though. So, like, I'll take it. Like,
I was like mad about the Bears game. It's already like 11 o'clock. Vegas scores to make it 1-0, and I'm like, that's it. I'm done. I'm going to bed. But then when I woke up, the final was 1-0. I'm like, okay, that went better than I expected it to.
And then they went on a 4-game win streak.
That's really been our reaction to this season so far.
Oh yeah, but like, just what's the old meme? A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one.
Yes.
Like, always welcome competitive hockey. Like, we'll never deny that. Like, dude, I can't tell you like how many times I looked at Jimmy when we were at that Oiler game, and Belchi when we were at that Oiler game, and Nick and we were at the game, and I was just like, this game should have been bad. Like, it should have been bad hockey, but this is just probably one of the more entertaining games you're going to see all season. Just back and forth. And this team should be able to go back and forth, but they did. It's like, oh, man. They bought in, man. I can't say it enough. They bought in, and they want to play for each other, and it shows. It really shows. Just, like, don't let Jujhar Khaira get in any more fights. I don't like that.
Oh, yeah, no.
I like Domi getting in fights. Like, how many times have I told Pierce exactly why I like Domi? He fucking sticks up for his teammates. He's a little shit. Everyone hates him, but he's our shit now. But he's our shit now, so it's great. Like,
he's our turd sandwich.
Just don't let Taves and Khaira get in fights. We don't need guys that have like concussion history in fights. That's just not. Yeah.
Let's not.
Yeah, Hawks are fun though. I guess we can just close it out.
Dude, if I can watch hockey, fun hockey, and it's my favorite team, and they're playing fun hockey, zero complaints for me. Literally, coming into this year, I had zero expectations. I didn't think they're going to play well. Hell, I don't even think they're going to get Connor Bedard. I'm just coming into the year, zero expectations. Game by game, if they win, cool. If they lose, whatever.
Also,
I see nothing but positives, and like I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't know if Taves and Kane are going to stay or get traded. We'll cross that bridge when they get to it, but for the time being, I'm enjoying this. So
day by day,
no need to ruin the vibes right now. Very good vibes. I can say that.
Real big Twitter question, Pierce: is Luke Richardson the biggest Giga Chad in the entire head coach industry of the NHL?
Mm-hmm. You know what? They should have ranked him number one
on the hottest coaching poll.
Exactly. Schmitty knows
because he's.
I don't know. I think that's a great podcast idea. We should just rank.
Sexy, who's the sexiest head coach this week? Well, it wasn't Pete DeBoer. Anyway.
Hey, listen, I shout out Pete DeBoer, man. Like he's doing very well in Dallas right now with those boys.
I already put that in the notes. Don't worry. I already talked about that.
Wait, you mean there's other teams to talk about?
Oh, also, McDavid just murdered the entire
I just found out last week.
I was like watching.
There's 31 other teams.
Yeah, let's talk about like the teams that are crazy right now because our team's boring fun. Now there's crazy.
No, I'd rather talk about how Montreal won the Kirby Dach trade already, and it's a Went Hughes masterclass.
Oh yeah, and then we got fleeced for DeBrincat, and we got fleeced for Czech's notes. Kubalik and Strome, who literally no one fucking wanted at the deadline last year. I think I need to make that crystal clear to people. I think Colorado wanted Kubalik for a fourth. Like,
yep,
yeah,
they weren't playing.
You really
like this last year. Simple as, especially Kubalik.
Bro, he had a $4 million. Wasn't both of them, Strome and Kubalik, both $4 million qualifying offers?
Like 3.8.
Yeah, you weren't going to do that. Nobody, no sane man was going to give them $4 million. The teams that signed them didn't think they were worth that money. So why should you blame the Hawks for not thinking so?
And like, I feel like there's a couple where it's valid. Like, I'm sorry. Like, yeah, Kirby Dach and Brandon Hagel are going off right now. Go look at where they're playing. Brandon Hagel is playing with Braden Point and Nikita Kucherov. You want to know when Brandon Hagel was really fucking good last year? When he was playing with Jonathan Taves and fucking, like, dude, you put Hagel with talent, he's going to score. You put Dach with talent, he didn't do it a lot with the Hawks, but when he did, he would score. Like,
what about a team where he's not going to hate himself?
Honestly, good on Marty St. Louis for putting Dach with Caulfield and Suzuki on the wing and just said, fuck it, we're sticking you there, and you're going to figure it out. And he's figured it out, and he's looked good.
St. Louis did this with Caulfield last year. He turned his career around. Like this isn't something new from St. Louis. I don't know. Like it feels as if people forgot that players can turn things around, and also that prospects can take 2 to 3 years to develop the way that Dach took 2 to 3 years to get to this point. Like, we got to use our heads here, guys. Fan base as a whole needs to slow down.
Like,
my God.
Kubalik's on the top line with Dylan Larkin, guys. Like, come on. He wasn't doing that on our team last year. He was on the third line last year.
Let me put it this way. Every single player that is on a different team is not on the Chicago Blackhawks 2021-22 team, which means that they're most likely going to have a much fucking better year. That's all there is to it.
Dude, and like, you can't knock how much bad culture does. Like, you know what I mean? You can't knock how much, like, not trying to say it, but, like, can't knock how much off-ice stuff does to a fucking team. Like, that couldn't have been fun walking into that locker room every fucking day last year. Losing games, everyone's job's on the fucking line. Off-ice, they got a fucking lawsuit going on. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
and anybody who wasn't even involved before, you're a part of this mess, and that's humiliating on its own. Like that
man.
Mental health exists, man. And playing for a team.
Hey, Jimmy, no, it does not. None of this stuff matters. This pansy stuff.
Thanks for keeping me.
Fuck up.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's just I'm so glad they're all doing well. Like, I want to see all those players do well. Yeah,
that's there's a part. Fuck you. I hope you don't succeed. Yeah,
and like, I'm not gonna knock fans that get pissed about it because I'm sorry. Like, they have every right to be like, okay, well, if we had those guys on this team right now, we're probably pretty good, and they're probably right. But it's just like, if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, hindsight's 20/20, guys. You don't know this stuff 12 months prior. Like,
Yeah.
fuck, who, like, if you would have told me that DeBrincat was like the 4th leading scorer out of ex-Hawks this year, I would have laughed. And he's got 2 goals. And, like,
Don't you know he's been a
playing perfectly
distraction in Ottawa, though? That's why.
Shut up! Don't
give that
even,
page
don't
attention.
even,
Don't give that
even.
page publicity. Don't. Like, we're not even. No, we're not even.
Hey, I didn't say who it was. I didn't say who.
No, I just love how, like, this fan base, even, like, when we try to, like, show that, like, hey, not all Hawks fans are pieces of shit. No, there's just, like, the guys who get the most clicks are pieces of shit. So we're just in that category.
We'll leave it at that.
It's great. It's great. But, yeah, I'm just glad that, like, we're, like, I don't know how many times I can say it. Like, no shit. People, like, the guys that when we put them in top line situations, they were like, sorry, when Dominic Kubalik was top line with the Taves for a whole year, he had 30 fucking goals. We knew he could do it.
Nominee.
Yeah, like, the only one that, like, is a surprise is Kirby Doc. But, like, also, we, like, Pierce and I talked about it before the show. Like, one thing about Doc is, like, he would put together those 5-game stints where you're like, holy shit, this guy might be a player. And then it's that 5 games after where you just can't find the passes that work.
I want to see a full season.
Bingo. And I also, and like I said, I tip my cap to Marty St. Louis just saying we're not playing you at center. We're putting you on the wing. Because, like, the Hawks refused to do that, and it probably would have worked once. Like, if they would have put him on the wing with Strome and DeBrincat, like, they did it for a while in 2020, but, like, you do that, it probably works. But, like, I'm just glad it's working for him now. And also, I'm glad the Lightning finally got their head out of their ass. And they're like, oh, we should probably put the guy who, like, really good with Patrick Kane with Nikita Kucherov. Like, that probably will work. Oh, and, like, we should probably put him on the power play, too. Like, they weren't putting him on the power play last year. Like, just, like, go look at his goal against Anaheim on the power play. Oh, but we don't want that on the power play. Like, come on. Like, Cooper, get your head out of your ass.
John Cooper L. Anyways. But, like,
also, I do love Hagel with point because you can't tell the difference between them on the ice. Sorry, just wanted to add that last point.
Both good Western Canadian boys. That's why.
Wait, where was Point? So he was Red Deer and Point was sorry.
Hagel was Red Deer and Braden Point was Moose Jaw.
Moose Jaw, that's what it was.
Named after your vehicle, right?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
How do you drive that thing? Do you, like, twist the antlers or something?
Yeah, that's how it works. Give it more horsepower, moose power, if you will.
Christ,
well, like, it goes both ways for the Kirby Doc trade. Like, people are already saying it's a win. Like, you have to give it a season. One, Kirby Doc hasn't played, like, a full 82-game season. All of it is because of COVID, the shortened season, and injury issues. We got to see him play a full 82-game season. We got to see him produce for – he doesn't even have to produce for the whole season. Like 75% of it. And then
if he gets 40 points, that's a fucking win. Like, yeah. Honestly.
Frank Nazar has not even played a game in college yet. Gavin Hayes is a 3rd-round pick.
Gavin Hayes playing top line flank. That's pretty good.
Yeah, let's pump the brakes a little. Like, both sides. Like, let's not call Doc a bust. Let's not say Doc is like a steal of a trade. Like, give it a year. Like, when you're trading players this young, I cannot talk. Holy.
You're right, though. You're right. Like, it's too
early.
Yeah. It's too early to look at this stuff. Like, I think Jay Fresh put it best, which you won't hear me defending Jay Fresh a lot, but, like, he said it. He was like, all right, well, if you're going to do your victory lap about a player doing extremely well in his new team, you better make sure his on-ice shooting percentage isn't, like, through the roof and non-sustainable. And, like, I feel like we bring this up with players all the time. Like, I think I brought it up with Hagel and Jimmy brought it up with Hagel. It was like, I love the guy, but he was shooting like 23%. I don't blame them for making that trade.
Yeah.
Like, I love that Taves is off to a hot start. He's shooting like 27%. That's not going to stay up.
He's like scoring on every third shot.
And I love it. It's great, but, like, it's just not going to fucking stay. Like, Nick Suzuki's shooting, I think, over 20%.
Yeah,
like, that's not going to stay. Like, Caulfield, that's another story. But, like, I don't know, man. Like, I love that they're off to hot starts. Like you said, just want to see him keep it up. Also, John Cooper, don't be stupid. Keep Brandon Hagel in the top 6. You'll win a lot more hockey games. Like,
hell, you might even want to up and pull ass.
Wasn't there a time for Hagel, Radish, and Kachuk?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2 first-round picks.
I think that return worked out really well for the Hawks anyway.
Oh, 100%.
I think it's a both sides win. Like, that's
just good middle 6. Kachuk is a great 4th liner. I think Kachuk brings great energy on that
4th line. Yeah. I just want to touch on that. He's fantastic in his own end. Like, they haven't had a guy like besides David Camp, they really haven't had a guy who's just.
Gee, I wonder where
they haven't had that defensive skill on the wing in the bottom six. Like when they did, it was like when they would throw Sod on the third line. And that's not what you want.
Yeah, and you can't.
Gee, I wonder where he's net. No, we could do that for a lot of.
Because like I said, I've missed a lot of Hawks games recently, but the ones I've seen, Kachuka's really stood out to me.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he plays exciting hockey.
Yeah.
Always lays a couple big hits, like good defensive stick in his own end. He seems to always be like really good at just like creating turnovers in the defensive and neutral zones.
Was it Freddie Goudreau that he just absolutely sent into a different?
Oh yeah,
that was.
Was it charging? Probably. We're just not going to talk about that.
That doesn't fit our narrative, so we won't talk about that.
Exactly. And his one career goal with the Black. Hey, DePaul won in basketball. Yes, sir. 1-0.
That's what we're here for, baby. Go DePaul basketball.
Oh boy.
Yeah, me, the basketball watcher.
I agree, though. Kachuk's been a very fun watch to start, especially now that he's healthy. Because, like, I really felt bad that he got that high ankle sprain in training camp. That's like the worst time to get hurt to start the season. Like,
speaking of which, Ian Mitchell, he might be playing soon.
Yes, he is skating, I believe.
Mm-hmm. I think he's like a week or so away from playing. They said, but like Seth Jones is going to be out for a few weeks. Right-handed spot. Power play spot probably up for grab.
Well, that seems pretty, seems really pretty nice, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You think we see Caleb get a game out here or there for Mitchell to come in? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right now, here's the problem. There's nobody you really need to take out. You know? So Pierce, I want to hear what you think because I don't know. I would assume
Put me on the spot here.
Putting you right on the spot, Pierce, and putting you right on the spot. Hot seat, everything.
Oh yeah, dude, my pants are on
fire. And you are no liar. So tell me, what are your thoughts on Ian Mitchell and where the Hawks put him?
I'm trying to think. What have the pairs been?
Ever since
it was Johnson and McCabe since Seth has been out, and then it was like it's been mostly Tenorti and Murphy.
They're all good,
and it's been like Ruth and Jones. So I feel like they got to scratch Tenorti with.
Here's the thing.
They won't.
We would scratch Tenorti, but will they? They won't. He loves Richardson loves Tenorti, and fine. That's your hitting guy.
Listen,
sure.
No,
listen here.
Richardson he still respects the tank at the end of the day. That's why he's playing those two in the top four. All right. It just happens to be that Jack Johnson's good right now. That's the only difference.
Jack Johnson was always good. Nobody saw it until now.
Only Luke Richardson
was until I put on the logo. The logo that shall not be named. Line combinations. Blackhawks getting.
Yeah, because same for like the last 5 games.
Yeah, Johnson, McCabe, Torrey Murphy, Jones, Regula. Regula's playing.
Regula too. Like I feel like they'll probably.
Yeah, Regula's getting. He's sitting. Yeah.
Oh, we have a 5th member on the podcast. It's like
that's a 6th member. What are you talking about?
Oh no! Hey,
I'm just kidding.
7th member.
Cosmo.
Oh no, Cosmo! No,
he's camera shy. Don't worry. He just needs to get more reps in. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it on the Blackhawks. Like I feel we've spent like almost 40 minutes on.
Listen. Yeah. We actually got fun October hockey for once. Like, let me just give one final round of applause for that. Like we have been waiting for that for like 4 fucking years.
Justin Fields tweets. My bad.
Yeah,
dude. Here's the ultimate thing. I don't want to kill myself talking about the Blackhawks for once. I think that's the ultimate thing. You chug a beer.
Yeah. He's preparing for the next game.
Exactly. Yeah, I think they play Thursday next, right? Against LA. That should be fun.
Correct, Mundo. Hey, I propose we do a live stream for that game with THPN if y'all are able to.
Oh, I'm down.
Maybe.
Is it home or away?
I think it's away, so it's going to be a late game.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Wait, no, but I think they're on the road on Saturday, so we could do a Saturday one. Let me check the schedule real quick. Crap. Okay, so they play 9:30 Central on Thursday and 9 Central on Saturday.
Jeez. That's not a stream.
Well, they're on the West Coast. Hey, Monday they play at – oh, actually, yeah. All right. Well, we'll just have to look at this later. We'll look at it later.
We'll figure it out.
What a false alarm.
We're gonna get the stars to align, and we'll have stream, and it's gonna be a lot of
I'm
fun.
hearing it like 9:30 Central is 10:30 in Indy.
Yeah, that's really late.
I can't do that.
On a Thursday, no less. Like,
And like Friday, I already have plans after work anyways, and it's gonna be a long day. So I can't be up too late.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. Yeah. Sorry, it's if you check our group chat, it's so fucking hard to get. It's really a miracle that all four of us are here right now because we have jobs, obligations, blah 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 blah. We're adults, and in 2022. All right. So yeah, it was nice that we could talk about the Blackhawks without getting mad.
Energy just slowly dropping to the floor.
Wanting to live-o-meter just dropping down second by second. Let's keep more positive on the more positive side of things. Speaking of things that have surprised us, besides the Blackhawks, what are some players and teams that have surprised us? I got mine, and before we came in here, who wants to go first?
Can I think Reagan didn't surprise me?
Oh, Jimmy, go.
Yeah,
let's hear it.
Yeah, you can go.
The Maple Leafs. All right, your turn.
The laughs. Oh my God, we got a shoehorn in here. All right.
Oh no, I just made about the Leafs. Oh no. One day, no Leafs net. Need to talk about the Leafs. Let's not do that.
All right, let's do it.
Talk about the New Jersey Devils.
What? Surely Schmitty never said nary a bad thing about them in the offseason at all.
No.
Never.
No.
Wait, you're telling me Mackenzie Blackwood's actually good now? No way. That's crazy. It only took them almost ruining his career when he was 22. All right. We're here. We're here finally when he's 25. Let's fucking go. Oh, man. Like Jesper Bratt's winning the Hart Trophy, right, guys? Totally. Like,
Jesper
Bratt's been surprisingly good.
Oh, he's been fucking incredible. I'm just being an asshole.
He's my
you being an asshole to New Jersey now.
No.
Yeah.
No, but like I was talking to Pierce about it before the show, and I think I mentioned it earlier. Like that Edmonton Devils game, I think it was Friday or Saturday. They scored 2 goals in 7 seconds.
My friend was at that game.
Jesus Christ.
And like they got the first goal. Ryan Graves like pulls a move through someone and scores like the goal of his career, basically. It was a great goal. And then 7 seconds later, Bratt just blasts up the left wing and just hammers a shot pass. I don't know if it was Skinner or Campbell.
It was probably Campbell because
I have Bratt my fantasy team, and he was just one of those guys where we're kind of running out of players, probably last round, and I'm like, sure, why not?
Shut up, this little Swedish fella.
This worked really well.
Yeah, 19 points, 12 games. It's not too bad.
Pretty good player. I mean, from what I've heard, I think that's good, right? Like that's good, right?
I don't know.
Oh, but remember, you know what? This is awesome. I still get a chance to dunk on this stupid fucking franchise. Oh, but it's not good enough to extend past 1 year, right? Oh, it's not good enough to extend past 1 year. Oh, Jesper Bratt is going to have that franchise by the fucking balls this offseason. It's going to be exciting. Like, remember the Kevin Fiala shit last year? Oh, it's going to be amplified times 2 with Jesper Bratt. Promise you.
Which defenseman from the state of Minnesota are the New Jersey Devils getting this? Awesome.
Who are the New Jersey Devils getting the Chicago Blackhawks?
Oh my God.
Jesper Bratt.
Jesper Bratt for Caleb Jones. Sell high. Let's go.
Make it happen. Put a little Jared Tenorti in there to spice it up.
Spice it up a little bit.
No, but seriously, Tom Fitzgerald for the Devils has to be seriously sitting under his hands, just crap. I gotta pay this dude so much money now. You probably could have got him at 6 or 7 last offseason. Yeah, that number starts with an 8 now. Sorry, that number.
Yeah, he's got to be at least a 9 if he keeps it up.
Oh, I was being generous. He could very confidently walk in. If he keeps this up this year, he could confidently walk into that place and be like, "Yeah, you know that money you were throwing at Gaudreau? You can give that to me now. You can give that to me. Oh, you gave Hughes 8? That's cute.
Back I want in the Brinks trucks, baby.
Oh, and he, like Reagan said, he deserves it every fucking bit. Because if you look at those stats, they don't. He has been tremendous. But
kid is only 24 years old too.
Jesus, is he really?
It's also crazy when the Devils are actually healthy. Because like Nico Heishier's not dead. He's playing great.
Yeah.
Jack Hughes hasn't even heated up yet. Think about that.
Dude, he's like point per game, and it's like he could be better. We know he can be.
That's the crazy part. Like they still have such a high ceiling. Like obviously they're gonna have some like stuff they're gonna have to do in the offseason, but that doesn't matter right now. Just keep winning hockey games. And like shit, Vanacek looks good. Like Blackwood looks good. Can't be too mad. Oh, but they're gonna boo the coach opening night. So and like the first 3 games because they lost like 2 games in a row. Oh no.
I'll boo Lindy Ruff tonight. That's cool. We'll do it opening night.
You might even say they're being a little too rough on them. Oh.
No. I think
I'm also gonna go to the Adam Wild school hating. Like, actually buy tickets to the games then if they're good. Like, sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe sell out your stadium.
Seriously,
that'd be fun. Yeah. All right. I'm done hating. Sorry.
It's just my favorite thing is just looking and seeing Pierce's like hair shaking from laughing. Face fully red.
Before it takes over me and turns me into Homelander. Anyways, what do we want to talk about next? Oh yeah, we're talking about teams and players that surprised us.
Reagan, you want to go next?
Carlson.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Sorry. Got ahead of myself. No, Reagan.
No, you're good. No, well, you should definitely talk about Carlson. You're right.
Okay, but Reagan.
Don't worry, we got plenty of.
Player, I kind of already talked about it, but yeah, Jesper Bratt, that's insane. As far as teams, we're going to talk more about it, but St. Louis is.
Yeah.
Are they losing?
We're looking at a good timeline. Packers just threw 3 goal line interceptions yesterday. Lost to the Lions in 2022. St. Louis is worst in the conference off a 6-game losing streak, and the Hawks are actually kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, the Blues just got their 7th straight loss, by the way. They lost to Boston 3-1 tonight.
No, they didn't.
This is awesome.
Chari tripped, and was it unbelievable?
You know what the best part about it is, though? Is that I'm pretty sure they have played the least games of any team, just like when they were, down in the standings at one time. But
Jordan Binnington can't save him this time. Sorry.
No, he can't. Thomas Greiss, noted other piece of shit, has been all right, but 3 games. Binnington has been an absolute disaster as a starter.
I hope someone beats the piss out of him. Did you see that him against the Islanders game where he's just like every time he skates past someone, he acts like he's like the toughest person there.
What did someone say? Someone was like, every time Jordan Binnington fills his diaper, some angel gains their wings. Like, it's so fucking true. Like, this dude gets so butthurt on the ice. Like, I think the closest there's ever been to that is like Jonathan Quick in recent memory. Like, he used to do that sometimes, but like,
he was a hothead, but not to this degree. Yeah.
Here's the thing: Quick was a hothead, and he was also arguably the best goalie in the world most times. So it didn't really matter. And he didn't make a fool out of himself. He also had a Conn Smythe and 2 cups to his name. So, that kind of helps to back you up. Also, remember Binnington fucking going around in the Shark zone? He bumped into 3 different players and then tried to run off the ice.
Yeah.
He's such a clown. No other way to describe it. He's a clown. Like,
dude, if Corey Crawford was like there while Binnington was still good, he would have beat the piss out of him.
Disrespect to swap Robbie Fabry for Jordan Binnington. That's all you gotta do. You already know he hates fucking Blues. Like, Jesus. Oh man,
dude, you know what? Like the whole thing with Matthews. You know what that thing? I looked up the clip of when I think it was 2013 Western Conference Final. Kyle Clifford went after Jonathan Toews. And then Corey Crawford went after Kyle Clifford and just got him the fuck out of there.
Oh yeah, no,
Crawford just made me appreciate Crawford even more. He should have won the Conn Smythe that year. Anyways,
Jordan Binnington has an 880 in 7 games.
That's good, right? I heard that was good. He went to the Mike Smith School goaltending.
Dude, he's like Phil Grubauer. Phil Grubauer was a Vezina nominee one of those years. So clearly that's good.
Hey, that's a good segue. You know, another team that's doing great right now is Seattle. Seattle's on with Martin Jones leading the helm in net. Like, holy shit. Like, imagine telling someone that Martin Jones is like this year. Like, he's not great, but he's not terrible. Like
he's won
He got
games.
80 or whatever the fuck Grubauer was last year.
I think he got a shutout too. Like they beat Pittsburgh. Like Pittsburgh's not doing well either, to be honest. But
You know what's funny? I'm pretty sure the podcast we did a couple of weeks ago, we're like, "Oh, Pittsburgh and St. Louis are off to pretty good starts." And now they've like each lost like 7 games in a row.
what 2 weeks can do to a team.
By the way, Grubauer is this year 1 loss, 1 OTL, 860.
He's also dead, so we're just gonna yeah.
He's dead.
Martin Jones is net, buddy.
Phillip. Yeah, like they're two goalies that were supposed to start this year. Drieger and Grubauer are just dead now. It's Martin Jones and I think it's Joey.
Yeah, Jones.
Yeah, but they're getting scoring from their top 9 is like doing what I think
Matty
everyone thought the top 9 was gonna do.
Yeah.
No, like I just love it because like Seattle's doing well, and the story that's coming out right now is that like Dave Haxtell just doesn't know how to use Shane Wright. And then I look at the last couple of games that he's played, I'm like, now they're starting to use him right. But like the thing that Haxtell's got to realize is if you're gonna play right in the bottom 6, you got to put his ass on the power play.
I'm at least on the power play, man.
Like yeah. And now and then he does against the Wild, and they had their best game of the season and shut him out 4-0. So, and he played 14 minutes in that game. So, like, they're starting to figure that out. Like, if obviously they're probably not going to send him back down from the sound of it.
No, I don't think they are.
Yeah, which, like, if that's the case, then he has to play, like, at least 60 games this year, in my opinion. He has to play. And, like, I don't care if you're winning. Like you said, Beniers is probably, like, front runner for the Calder, if you ask me right now. I think he's on, like, a 30-goal and almost 70-point pace. That's really good.
That is all right, if I'm being honest.
Oh, yeah. But, like, they're getting depth scoring. Like, Donato, Geeky, all these guys on the bottom 6 are starting to contribute. Top 6 is looking good now. Eberle and Gordon, all them, they're looking solid. Burakovsky was a great offseason acquisition. Bjorkstrand's been pretty good, honestly. Their back end's been
that trade. What an awful trade by Columbus.
Yeah, that was weird. And
let's put on them because they suck now. Anyway.
Let's move to that. Holy smokes, what is going on in Columbus?
Holy shnikes.
Like, I know their goaltending, like their goalies are hurt, but like, really this bad? Like, Gaudreau's looked great too. That's not even the worst. Like, he's the only one that's doing anything over there. Oh man, like. Would not have predicted Columbus to be this bad to start the season.
I didn't either.
Like, Boquist is getting scratched, and then I think he got hurt.
We won the trade. Let's go.
They don't really have a head coach in Columbus, do they?
Brad Larson, I don't like, honestly.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a decent raw. Like, you should be able to do something with that.
Like, obviously, there's not the high-end scoring talent, but like
you should be 3-9.
They shouldn't be this bad. You shouldn't be this bad.
No.
Yeah, man. Like,
Arizona's better than that.
Brad Larson he's just kind of Joe Schmo number 79, you know, like there's not really anything going on there.
The thing was when Larson took over, it was like everyone talked, they're gonna play polar opposites to the way Tortorella coached his team. So they're gonna be run and gun, they're just gonna go all offense, and it worked last year. They were, I think, like top half in goal scoring, but they were literally 29.
They're like at the bottom of the barrel.
It was the most goals they ever allowed in franchise year.
There you go.
Exactly. Hard to do if you're the Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they've had some bad seasons, but like that, if you don't clean that up, I don't care how many goals you score, that's never going to like outbeat it. Like, I think they had a game against Pittsburgh. Yeah. Like, what was the game against Pittsburgh this year? They were up 3-1 and lost like 6-4. It was like, you can't.
This is just the Hawks in the last 3 years.
Oh, yeah. Like, they just forget there's another 100 feet of the ice they got to worry about.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I just don't see how a team with Erica Branson for 4 years could lose games, but there it is. There it is.
Dude, that was almost their only signing of the day that day, too. That's the funny part. That Gaudreau signing came in like 3 hours later. Oh, God. Just such a weird team. Like, Juracek's playing games for him right now. Like, it's just...
Wait, no shit. Pause.
Yeah, Juracek got a couple games in.
Got called up, I think.
Oh, wow. That's, okay.
Yep.
I missed that.
Columbus is not fun right now. But we can switch it to a player who's doing really well, Jack Eichel. Like, I need to talk about Jack Eichel
Dude,
because I think
they're number one in the league right now.
dude, Logan Thompson's been killing it. They're getting goal scoring from all four lines, which is always what Vegas has been good at. When they were really good, at least.
Bruce Cassidy, baby.
Bruce Cassidy hockey. And I'm sorry, this is the first time we've seen a healthy Jack Eichel in 2 years. And I think people forget that the year.
It's been a while.
It's been since 1920. And I don't think people remember Jack Eichel in 1920. He had 87 points in 70 games. This dude can fucking play hockey, and people forget that. He's off to a dynamite start in Vegas. He's got, like, I think 3 highlight reel goals and assists. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the goal or the overtime winning assist he had in Washington, where he, like, basically just gives Theodore a little head tap to pinch, and he fucking sets him up for a perfect goal. Like, he is in his bag right now in Vegas, and I couldn't be happier because he was getting dunked on every chance he could last year. And, like, yeah, we probably dunked on him too once or twice just because it was easy. But, like, hey, nothing better than proving the haters wrong and shutting them up. And he is doing it in the best way possible.
I'm so fucking happy for him.
And there's nothing better than a trade where both sides win. You know what I mean? Because everyone always wants to be like, well, this team got fleeced. That team fucking won by a mile. Okay, the Sabres got 3 players who are probably going to be on the roster. Tuck looks great. Krebs is developing. And I think they drafted
I believe it was Noah Usland, yeah.
Yeah, Usland's going to – and I think he's going to be a player. And then the Vegas Golden Knights got Jack Eichel.
They got the number one center they've been needing. Like,
exactly. It's nice to have trades that work for both sides. Like, honestly, if we want to be honest, Erik Karlsson doing well, that trade's starting to work out well for both sides too. Obviously, the Sharks are not in a position they want to be in, but they're going to get a top 5 pick this year. Who cares? Like,
also Josh North the rest of the year, so you know.
Yeah, that's a tough. I was watching the game. He got hurt too. It was weird. It didn't seem like it was that bad of an injury, and then you just hear it's an arm, and then he's out, and it's like, oh, that's a huge blow for Ottawa. Who, honestly, if we're talking about teams that are surprising, they are. Like, I know Talbot was
bad.
Dude, how are you 4-8 but have like an even goal differential? Like, I don't understand Ottawa. Wow. Like, I guess they can't play defense, which, like, oh no, it's almost like every team that looked at Ottawa was like, all right, well, besides Shabbat, what's going on this back end? But
even Logan fucking Jake Sanderson's look good, but who do they have other than Sanderson and Shabbat?
Like, they have Zub, who's decent, but, like, Nick Holden's playing minutes for you.
I ain't good enough in that division right now.
Nope. And that division is stacked at the moment.
It's the best division in the NHL.
Yep, 100%.
What a shame.
Let's just say I would hate to be a fan of a team who is in that division right now. I'll say that.
Yeah, truly couldn't be one of our teams that a fan is on our show. Couldn't be.
Yeah.
Listen. I had Ottawa fans. For once, I had fans in my mentions yelling at me in an off season. So,
wow, what did you do?
I feel so bad for Ottawa. Oh no, boo, so sad. Listen, when you hype up your team all off season and talk about being like the next contenders in the league and you fall flat, people are gonna laugh at you. That's why people laugh at Leafs fans most of the time. Don't annoy yourself. two laps ahead. Come on.
Always funny.
Ottawa absolutely did that.
Nothing like a good laugh at the Leafs.
Nothing like a good laugh.
Laughs.
Yeah. Always good.
Surprising players. Marty Natchez, I want to talk about.
I was going to bring that up. I have a second player that we'll talk about after.
Is it me? Did you watch me at the World?
Yeah, it is you, man.
So much.
Dude, I was talking to my boy Stevie Conroy, not the cat. He's like, yo.
Not the cat.
Both Stevies would be actually insane.
He was
Imagine
like,
a line of me and the Stevies. That would be crazy.
Yeah. My man was like, yo, this little Jimmy filler. And let me tell you, he can skate like the wind and handle that puck. He might need to put on a little bit more size, but you know.
What's the scouting report on Stevie Stevenson?
I don't know.
She doesn't play. Dude, she hasn't played it all the last 3 years. Come on,
bro. She's a cat. She doesn't play.
Dude, you told me you got her on skates last year. Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
shut
Whatever.
up.
We'll get on with the podcast, I guess.
Yeah.
Some
We'll sell that off camera.
yeah, definitely.
No, but Marty Necas was a guy I did want to bring up. I'll let you talk about him because I have one player who I think is a great story.
Yeah, sure. Marty Necas, really fucking good player that people have slept on for a while. Finally got his spot. God, how old is he now? He's got to be what 23.
22.
Yeah, he's fucking young. Yeah, really found his spot in Carolina. He's got 17 points in 12 games. Can't give you a big reason as to why, besides he's just a good player finding his feet. But I feel like
I'll give you a reason. No, I don't think people realize how big of a thing losing Vincent Trocheck was going to be for Marty Necas, because now he finally gets to play in the top 6 on a regular basis. Because this guy was on the third line for 2 straight years, and it made no sense. Or he was on the wing, which is he's actually getting the ice time he needs to be the player that he is. That's just
good player.
Good player.
The player I want to talk about is he went in the same draft class, and we didn't even know if he was going to be able to play hockey, like have a career a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
On LA, Gabe Vilardi.
Yeah.
14 points, 14 games, 9 goals.
Playing
He's
on
shooting
top
at
line.
25% pretty much, but I don't care. I'm glad that he's playing NHL games and doing well on a good team in LA, because he had 7 points in his first 10 games before COVID hit, but I think he had back problems. There was always concerns from his draft year. Is he a good enough skater? I'm just glad he's overcame all the odds. In the COVID shortened year, he did have 23 points in 54 games. It's just kind of meh. But then last year he only had 7 points in 25 games. But now this year he's got 14 points in 14 games. He's 10 points off from already matching his career high, and he's played 40 less games.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's just a great story. I'm glad that he's took a little time. Stuff has happened, COVID. He's had injury issues. I think he had some back problems, and it takes time. But I'm just glad that he's having a good start to LA, and he's probably gonna cool off. But he's clearly got skill. He's gonna be.
Here's the thing with Vilardi that gets extremely underrated is that gives the Kings because the thing that I think set the Kings apart last year was they had a good top 6, but you need a good top 9 nowadays.
Yeah.
Vilardi gives them that flexibility.
Goal to get past Edmonton. Yeah.
Well, they get that flexibility now. So they play Vilardi on the top line. You move Fiala down a line. You still have that really good third line with Deneau and Moore and Arvidsson and all that. You're getting some lineup flexibility with this team that you didn't have even last year. And it's starting to show dividends. I think they're the highest scoring team in the league this year, or one of them. They are pumping goals, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was funny because people were like, "Oh, Fiala needs to get it going," and I'm pretty sure after I saw that, 2 years ago, literally on fire. I think he's got a 6-game point streak. But that was always a great move by them. It's going to be fun to watch them. And Vilardi is the cherry on top with that team right now because, like you said, Pierce, you talked to everyone 3 years ago. We didn't know if Gabe Vilardi was even going to be a guy in the NHL. And he has really come a long way. And the thing that I've noticed a lot about his game that he wasn't doing in previous seasons, he's going to those soft areas of the ice.
Big boy.
Go look at all of his goals. He is right in the every time it seems. And another player who does that really well is Alex Tuck. And like you just said, he's a big boy, uses his size. I think that's why, Pierce, when we talk about prospects, I really beat the drum on if you have size, use it because you are going to become, the way the league is shifting, you are going to become a dominant force. And Gabe Vilardi, I think, finally, the light clicked for him. And maybe Quentin Byfield can go to the Gabe Vilardi school of having the light turn on.
Not only have Quentin Byfield, Alex Turcotte, too. Very high draft picks.
Kaliev's looked good this year, too. Another great year for Kaliev.
They just have so many people. And again, I hope this is what the Blackhawks are in a few years. The LA Kings are the blueprint.
When we call Paul Lewinsky in 3 years, it'll be so chills.
Well, yeah, that's all I got for players.
That's our beat around the league. Oh, also Connor McDavid's the second coming of Jesus Christ. I think we all know this already. Guys could probably gonna get 50 in his sleep this year.
He's gonna win the Rocket Richard.
Dude, I hope he does. That'd be so awesome. He got another one tonight, and it was a picking doozy against.
Yeah, he's like goal per game
Washington
right now. He's 2 points per game.
He's gonna lose it to Gabe.
Listen, we saw him snatch Jake McCabe's soul live, and that was like I think we all just there's only been a couple times where I'm not like pissed after I see a goal, and there was like a goal against the Wild last year where like Kaprizov sets up Zuccarello. I looked at Jimmy and I was like, oh, that was tough. And then like McCarr had a play like that last year where I was like, I don't even know what to say. That's just a good fucking play. And then you just watch every goal McDavid had in person, and you're just like, it's somehow better in person. Like Pierce, you've seen it. Like he's just, you can see it. Like people always just. Osby and I used to always joke that like when and like you could just literally see defensemen's eyes light up every time McDavid gets on the ice. Like, fuck, all right, let him get to the outside. Don't let him get to the middle. We don't know where we need to stop him, but we have to figure it out somehow. Like you can't. He has no weakness. It seems like I could go on McDavid. I could go on about McDavid for like 2
hours.
You know
what clip of Oscar Petrangelo? I think it was at the Lake Tahoe game. Where like
shit,
coming down the wing, like shit, and he just snipes one. That's McDavid. That's a defenseman to McDavid every single shift of the game.
Time. I remember after McCabe got completely turnstile by Connor. I know Dylan pointed out. You see McCabe the next time just drives Connor all the way to the wall the next shift. Not taking chances.
Like fucking shift, you just see McDavid gallop up the right wing, and McCabe's like, "Nope, we're going to the wall. We're not going to the middle this time at all." And like I always joke with McDavid, like he gets rid of the puck on the pass, and then he takes a lap to speed up. He literally takes a lap around the offensive zone, gains a shit ton of speed, gets the puck on his stick, and then just makes some dude's life a living hell. Like he's just so fucking good.
Wasn't it last year too, who like basically like broke Doc's ankles to this beat the Hawks?
McCarr.
Yeah, that was
What's the defenseman best?
I thought it was McDavid. Never mind. Ignore me.
The other world.
Another fantastic hockey player that just makes you go, holy shit, this guy's good. Like it's.
I don't know why I thought that was McDavid. Never mind.
But it's the same concept, Reagan, of like there's like 5 players in this league where they're gonna make a move on your team and they score and you're just gonna be like, all right, well no one's stopping that. So can't feel too bad. Like I can't imagine like teams get too upset when like, you know, Matthews goes like top cheese on someone on the power play. It's like, you know, there's only so much you can do about that. Like, Ovechkin's wide open on the left circle on the power play. Fuck. Like it's gonna happen once a game. No, we gave Patrick Kane space. Like we're fucked probably. Like that's just the way it is.
Mitty, were you at the game where Alex Ovechkin scored that crazy on the back goal?
Listen, yes, and we need to have my brother on the show because he remembers it better than I was. Because I was pretty young. I was like 7 or 8 at the time, but I do remember like being in the arena and stuff. But like, I just remember everyone going, "Oh!" Like it's just like you know that reaction when you're at a sporting event and something crazy happens, and it's not even like a cheer. It's just like holy, like all like 20,000 people are just like, holy shit. Like there's no way. Like I love watching the highlight of that goal. Like when you watch it like back on like TV and they put the camera on Gretzky, who's coaching the Coyotes at the bench at the time, and he's like, what the fuck do I even do for that?
Apparently Austin Matthews was at that game too. So it's like Ovechkin scored that goal while a legend was coaching another team, while like another legend.
The next generation of scorer was in the building.
Austin Matthews, but like that's
pretty crazy that the guy who's gonna break Gretzky's record scored that goal against Gretzky. I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah,
honestly, I believe Brian Boucher was the goalie on Phoenix.
Yes, he was.
Man, what a fever dream of like a time in the NHL, like 05 to 08 range, like right after the lockout, like. All those teams had to like restructure their teams because of the salary cap. Like
the game of hockey was different, like after that lockout. And it's
100%. Crosby and Ovechkin, I don't think get enough credit for like being the renaissance.
They really turned things around. Like
and Malkin too. I gotta throw Malkin in there, and Lundqvist and Price and all these guys.
Well,
Kane literally like no one wants to admit it, but Patrick Kane is the reason that people like Braden Point actually play in the league right now.
Dude, like, Patrick Kane is the reason why I'm watching. Like I'm a Blackhawks fan.
Patrick Kane's the reason why like half of these fucking players coming in the league right now are playing right now.
These American players.
Jack Hughes. Like all these guys, like
it's so weird how all these players have the same playing style as Patrick Kane, and they're all big fans of Patrick Kane. I just can't put 2 and 2 together.
Which also makes me like always a little point. I think I joked about Jimmy with this one time. Like someone did a mock trade for Patrick Kane from the Leafs, and they were like, "Oh, Patrick Kane's gonna wear 89." I was like, "You fucks realize Nylander wears 88 because of Kane, right? He's switching right back to 29 if 88's on that team. Like you need to realize that right now. Like, I mean, we literally saw this last year how much of an impact Kane has in the league. Look at fucking Trevor Zegras. He's like his clone." Like, Zegras is literally a Kane clone on ice. One asterisk on that.
Like his apprentice.
Yeah, but, like, every time I watch Zegras, I'm like, this kid literally is Patrick Kane. Like, everyone from that 19 development team, like, they had that vibe. It was, like, Hughes, him. Like, I wouldn't put Turcotte in that, but, like, that type of high-end skill. Like, that doesn't translate without Patrick Kane being really good. Like, Austin Matthews' goal scorer, Connor Bedard's goal scoring and shit. That shit doesn't happen without Alex Ovechkin being a fucking machine. Like, Jesus. Oh, man. There's just so many good stories the last 15 years that, like, won't get the credit they need to get until, like, these players retire. Which is, like, it doesn't get talked about enough that, like, Ovechkin and Crosby are so fucking the whole league up at, like, 36 years old. Like, that just doesn't happen. Like,
Jonathan Quick is still a starting goalie for a division.
Bro, he actually played out that whole fucking contract. Like, think about that for a second. That, like, 10-year deal.
Remember, like, King's tweet? It's like, oh, that's, like, 10 or whatever years of our goal.
I can't wait till they quote that 12 or 10 years later and then, like, told you. Because you know their Twitter will do it, too.
I mean, at least, like, it's playing out a 10. How many players in the NHL played out a 10-year contract? Without being
I completely forgot that fucking tweet exists. Like, you pulled that out of the dark cobwebs of my brain.
The dark cobwebs in the hockey Twitter lore.
Hockey Twitter lore.
It really is, which is kind of sad, but
no, we're doing a real deep dive here. Yeah. Let's talk about
water
the
carrying contest.
Carolina Hurricanes now. And now Cam Ward was the Conn Smythe Trophy winner, and if they don't win that cup, I'm probably an Oilers. Well, I am an Oilers fan, but I'm mainly an Oilers fan. That's my number one team.
No, it's Frederick Anderson. Can't imagine who let him up and let him walk to that team.
Oh, I see what you're doing there. Yeah. Okay.
So Ice Spice is a new song.
I don't know. I don't know how to respond to that. Sorry.
No.
I'm looking at the next topic and I'm like, oh Jesus, I don't want to talk about it. And you're just like, Ice Spice, you're gonna fight. I'm like,
I'd rather Ice Spice.
You know, you bring a good point. I do too. So let's get this out of the way. Everyone knows what happened.
Oh.
Boston Bruins signed Mitchell Miller to an entry-level contract. And then 2 days later, they let go of him. They terminate his contract. I'm just going to say this. I planned this out. I've been thinking about this all day. Number one, Mitchell Miller, he's not changing. Stop trying to defend him. I don't care about Mitchell Miller. People are saying, oh, he was 14 years old while he's doing it. Okay, yeah, he did it while he was 14. It was repetitive abuse. Like,
just through high school.
I'll give you an example. When I was 14, when I was around that age, I remember one time we were like cleaning out lockers at the end of the year, and I'm just like, yo, bro, pass me my lock. Just throw it to me. And I'm like, I'll catch it. And my friend threw my lock at me, hit me right in the eye, and I had a black eye. That's being a 14-year-old, not being a racist piece of shit that makes you lick candy out of a urinal. By the way, like, trigger warning. Sorry, I probably should have prefaced it by that. Mitchell Miller, like, I'm sorry. I'm not saying like he should be like just exiled. Like, playing in the NHL needs to be a privilege, not a right.
No, he's not entitled.
And everyone else is like, oh, what about these players? I'm like, that's the whole fucking point of this.
They should all be held fucking responsible.
Like, and they're like, what about football? That's the whole point of this. Like,
no one's defending it in any other sport. No. It's just you have to hold these players accountable at some point. And, like, I just want to make this statement clear now before I say something that I'm not going to mean 100%. When I say people don't deserve second chances, because I got a lot of shit for this earlier, I'm talking about second chances and making millions of dollars playing a fucking luxury of a sport. Something that literally only hundreds of people get to do a year, maybe.
The 1% of the 1%.
You're like the 0.01%. You don't get a second chance in that shit. Sorry, you don't. You blew your fucking chance right out the fucking chute. Oh, no, he's 14. I don't fucking care. I really don't fucking care.
When
Honestly.
you do that kind
don't.
of stuff, when you do that kind of repetitive behavior, not only is that him, like, there's no fixing him, but that runs in the family too. Like, his dad has a Twitter account. He was retweeting and liking all this stuff. Is like, oh, he doesn't deserve this. He deserves a second chance. Blah blah blah. I don't care about Mitchell Miller. I don't care.
No.
Second, we talked about this last year with the whole Kyle Beach thing. Like, the front office needs to be fired there in Boston. I do not give a
That's
fuck.
unbelievable. And now that I've started to hear more, quotes out of it, I'm starting to think it's more Cam Daly and the owner than it was Don Sweeney. I think Don Sweeney got stuck in that role. I'm not defending Don whatsoever, but like, there's a reason Don Sweeney's trying to cover his ass, and I think that's because there's someone higher up that wanted to make that move.
It's
and
also
that's usually where this comes from.
Sorry.
No, you're good. No, 100%.
It's also even the players like, what the fuck? Like, we didn't want this. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you sign this guy? That just it boggles my mind.
It's insane.
And like, first of all, at 14, you should know better. At 14, I knew not to bully people
And be a racist piece of shit, and
exactly.
Repetitive racist piece of shit.
This isn't
a one-time thing. He did this multiple times.
This is
zero remorse,
as everyone's calling it. No, it's bullying.
It was a calculated.
It's racist. It's racist, and it's bullying. Don't sugarcoat it.
And not only that, like, he's has learning disability as well. Like, I can't.
Bullying. It's fucking abuse. It's abuse.
And like, obviously, we're talking about this, but like, at the end of the day, I'm thinking of Isaiah's family. I'm thinking about his mom that's had to deal with all, like, his whole family. That's
she had to come out in public and talk about this, man. Like, I don't wish that on anyone. We talked about this with Kyle Beach, man. Like, when they brought out the file and basically just like blackballed, like, they boxed it. Like, come on, man. You just can't do stuff like that. I feel sorry for the family. Like, they have to get put in the spotlight again because an organization wanted to be better on the ice, even though they're 10-1 when they made the move, by the way. 10-1, and I'm pretty sure they're doing well in Providence, too. So there's no fucking reason to make that move whatsoever. That needs to be clarified more. There's, say it again, zero fucking reason to make that move. Zero. Absolutely zero. And like you said, Reagan, when you have guys like Patrice Bergeron coming up to your face and saying, what are we doing here? You might want to question your character and your morality at some point, guys.
And your job.
Holy shit. Yeah. Like, no good guy, Patrice Bergeron, thinks you're in the wrong. You're probably in the fucking wrong, guys. Just want to point that out. Holy smokes. Like, just, you can't go 3 weeks without some crap like this happening in the sport. It's unbelievable.
And just the people saying, well, he deserves a second chance because he was 14 and people change. In this case scenario, people don't fucking change.
Never apologize.
That's been running your family your whole life. You've been taught this. There's no changing you. Sorry.
Yeah, and at least there's no reason to believe you'll change if you've given absolutely no, like, what has Mitchell Miller ever done or said to give anybody any kind of, like, hope that you would be a better person whatsoever? You are not entitled to being an NHLer because you're good. You have to earn that.
He's not sorry because he feels bad.
I mean, God, at the end of the day, just be a decent human being. And if you are as bad as he was for 4 fucking years through high school, don't make any attempt to apologize.
Yep.
They've talked about this. His family never apologized.
He only apologized because the court ordered him to, so he could play in the.
And then the judge was like, "Yeah, you didn't say. You're not sorry at all. Like, that's just it all right."
He's shown no remorse whatsoever, and that's just disgusting.
It's got to be.
It's
got to be one of the last times this happens. It has to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that I saw it as an example of we're stuck with this for a long time. The only reason I feel hopeful, like, going forward in any way, is that it took a day and a half, 2 days and a half for this to stop. But man, I mean, this needs to be a fucking example of examples. I don't know what else to say about that, but yeah.
It's a loss for words, to be honest.
Oh yeah, I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I'm still, I don't know, man. It just makes me fucking sad.
It is, and at the end of the day, when we talk about the whole Hockey Canada thing, which by the way is still going, when we talk about the Kyle Beach incident, like, at the end of the day, like, I just feel bad for the main victim. that them and their family and their friends have to go this for the rest of their life. Like, if they have to do that, then Mitchell Miller, at the very least, shouldn't be able to play NHL hockey for the rest of life. Is like, oh, it's
absolute mess.
All the Boston Bruins had to do was look up an article, seeing what happens, like what he's done, and that could have been just enough to say, no, we can move on. There's good vibes in the locker room. Like, we're off to a good start. Let's not do this. Like, the first time that pops in your head, no, you shouldn't sign Mitchell Miller. If you have to go to your captain, your leadership group, and ask them, like, you should probably not do it. They did it anyway. And again, like, going back to the whole Kyle Beach thing, the Hockey Canada thing, it's like no one's taking accountability. Like, no one's like saying, okay, I'm responsible. Like, that'll never happen. But it's frustrating. No one's taking accountability. It's like, oh, well, he did this, he did that. Like, Gary Bettman was like, we
what's bad when we're giving Gary Bettman credit? You know what I mean? Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like,
but then, like,
that's the bare minimum.
Right? And then, like, at the same time, it's like you put this contract through NHL registry, like, where. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had to go through so many steps to do this, and also the conflict. By the way, I've lost all respect for Elliot Freeman after what happened. Like, just the whole Kyle Beach thing. Like
we said, Pierce got the water carrying competition between Drager and Frege next draft. Holy shit!
And it's embarrassing. Like. And here's the thing. The only reason the Bruins did it is because other NHL teams were interested. At the very least, if you have this kind of information, why don't you share with us the other teams that were interested in them? Like, I lost all respect for Elliot Freeman. Like, ridiculous.
I just love that, like, they just have to be meat writers to keep their sources. It's so funny to me.
No.
And, like,
they
were so quick to put out the thing that, like, oh, other teams are looking at him. Like, I'm sure, bud. I'm fucking sure. Like, everyone would put, like, yeah, well, we thought other teams would look at him too. Yeah, make yourself look a little bit better. Yeah.
Pointing fingers is not.
That's the whole thing. Pointing fingers, no accountability. Oh, he did it. Oh, he did it. Oh, he did it. Oh,
For the toughest sport in the world, they sure seem to be afraid of any kind of accountability. But apparently being strong physically, accounts for all strength of any kind, right? That's how we should look at it, right?
Just fucking embarrassing, and it did not need to happen at all. No. The whole point I want to take away from this is, like, prayers, thoughts. It sounds stupid, but, like, all I can do is just hope that Isaiah and his family, the Meyer Crowther's family, they find peace and solace and get all the help they need, and our love and support is with them. But second, like, it's not that it happened, it's how when it does happen. Like, this shouldn't happen at all, but, like, just in general, shitty things are going to happen in life, but we need to figure out, like, how to handle it when it actually happens. And oh man, just embarrassment. It didn't need to happen. It really didn't. That's all I gotta say about it. Yeah. And now we get to do a nice or sharp right hand turn. Let's talk about football. You guys want to talk about football?
Yes, we can talk about football. We can talk about football.
I actually have a good starting point. Reagan, what are your thoughts on Frank Reich getting fired? Because I don't know how to feel about that. Because they said they're going to keep Ballard now. So I want to know your thoughts.
I'm, like, torn because it's like part of me is not that surprised because if you look at the Colts on paper, they should be so fucking good, and they're 3-5-1. Yep. Essentially, they're the same as the fucking Bears, and, like, the Bears are 3-6. Honestly, with that roster, I can deal with that because that at least shows promise. The Colts, I don't know what they're doing. But then it's like mid-season though too, with like how short the football season is compared to other sports. You don't have as much time to like adjust to that. And now you're bringing in Jeff Saturday, which like, listen, I love Jeff Saturday.
He's a great player. He's a great center. Like, there's nothing wrong with
that. At the same time, you're bringing in a guy who doesn't know the playbook. Like, you're just like,
he's just like a cheerleader on the sideline for the next 7 games. Like, that's what you signed him for, right? Like
the Derek King special.
Like,
honestly, though, that's what he is. Like, Just get us through.
I like you guys. We like you. We'll try our best.
And it's not like he's a good coach. This guy was 3-7 the last year he coached high school football. Like, oh God,
he's a fucking legend in Indy. But at the same time, couldn't you at least have just promoted one of the assistant coaches for the rest of the season?
Just make Gus Bradley the head coach for the rest of the year, the defensive coordinator. Like, oh, and like. I was just gonna say, like, I didn't get them fucking benching Matt Ryan. Like, I know he was a turnover machine, but like, that's how you lose the locker room with the trade, like a move like that.
It was so funny because my boyfriend's a huge Colts fan. All season, he's been talking about, I really want to go to the Colts Commanders game because I want to see Matt Ryan just stomp Carson Wentz's ass. And then we go to.
Oh no!
We knew neither guy was playing, but like we found like tickets the night before, so it's on a whim we went. Oh my God.
That was a bad game.
It was bad. I was
like,
this makes me feel better for the Bears losing to the Commanders, but what the hell is going on?
At least we didn't lose off of like a 40-yard just yuck up to or Terry McLaurin. Like,
I mean, at one point we're like watching, we think the guy gets into the end zone. They call him down at like the 1, and then the next play, Allinger gets sacked, and they have to just go for the field goal. And I'm like, this is worse than watching the Bears at this point. Like
this team, it's basically like watching the Nagy Bears. If I'm being honest, that's what it seems like. Because like the defense, like they have their moments where they keep them in the game. It's just they can only do so much.
I mean, this is the same team that went into Jacksonville and got shut out. They didn't only lose. They got shut out. And I'm like, it's Jags.
But they beat Kansas City this year. Like, I don't get the Colts. Like,
this team boggles my mind. Like, and then they lost 3 straight. And like, sure, like I'll give it to them. Like the Titans are good. But then you also like lost to the Patriots, and the Bears even beat the Patriots. Like,
yeah.
What?
Like offense isn't working, defense isn't like it feels like the defense like they're doing their job, but like when they need to get that one stop, they just can't. Yeah. And it's just like
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt because Jonathan Taylor has been hurt the majority of the season. It feels like, but at the same time, like, bro,
it's dude, it's just not good.
Like
oh man,
the the season, everyone's like, oh my God, the Colts are going to be contenders this year. They tie their first game. They get shut out in their second game. And I'm like, what's going on here, guys?
What the fuck they doing over there?
It's rough. And we talk about it all the time, like with hockey, it's like the worst place you could be is like 500. I'd say the worst place you could be in football is like where the Colts are right now, because that's where the Bears were a couple of years ago. And that's like you're set up to be good, but you stink. And it's about like the Broncos are dealing with that right now. The Raiders are dealing with that right now. They were all set up like the Colts. They were all set up to be good this year. And when you start losing games, oh man, it's like the writing's on the wall when you look at it. Teams. Exactly.
I'm like, because it's like I'm a Bears fan first and foremost, but I also grew up in Indiana, so it's like
you work for them too. Like you want to see them do well. Like
I've always loved them, and it's just. Like last year, because I was working for them last year, it was so fun because they were actually good. And sure, they needed to beat the Jags to be in the playoffs, and they didn't do that.
But, good old Carl Wentz.
Can't imagine your favorite football team, missing out on a playoff game. Oh man.
Oh no, the Bears are dumber. They just make the pity playoff spot and lose like 21-9 to the Saints. Like,
exactly. Like at least the Colts just straight up didn't make it at all.
Honestly, like, but here's the thing I will say with the Colts: if they're gonna keep Ballard, I actually am happy about that because Ballard's a hell of a drafter. First of all, like, he is, like you said, you said it firsthand. There is talent on that fucking roster. Like there is no way around it. And you give this guy a chance to draft a quarterback now, like he's gone for a veteran in the last 4 years. Give him a chance to draft one.
I think that was a big like issue with like Reich is he loves these old ass about to retire veteran QBs, which is why Ryan got benched in the first place because rumor has it wasn't necessarily Reich's choice. It was Jim Irsay being like, no, I'm done with you and these old ass veteran QBs. Ryan, Put in Ellinger.
No, like Pierce, you don't get it. The NFL, like the owners will literally interfere with everything. Like you need to realize that. Like if they're not making money, they're gonna tell you what to fucking do. This isn't like hockey where like sometimes the owner interferes. Like no, like if your team starts losing, the owner's gonna be in the fucking like. I think Irsay has been in like the huddles after the games and shit. Like he comes down to the locker, like Jerry Jones comes down to the locker room and like yells at the team when they do bad. Like,
oh yeah, Irsay
this is shit that happens in the sport that like shouldn't fucking happen. Because first of all, these guys have no football IQ, they have no football knowledge, so it's just a bunch of rich dudes making fucking decisions, knee jerking. Basically, like I'm sorry, really, that's the best way you can describe the Colts the last 2 weeks is knee jerk decisions. Right. Like. Oh man, but it could be fun because they will have a good pick, and you could probably go get a quarterback, and then you might have some hope for the team, or you could do a full slate rebuild, and you could get some very good draft capital for some of those players. Like I know they just extended him, but like if you're gonna rebuild, you could probably get a fucking first for Quentin Nelson. Like that's just the way it is. Like Shaq Leonard when he's healthy can get you picks. Like. If they really want to rebuild, they're going to have players, but I could also see them just being like, let's draft a quarterback and see what happens. So
yeah, like growing up a Notre Dame fan too, I would hate to see Nelson go, but at the same time, if you can get good draft capital for him and like get a good QB, go for it.
Hey, listen, if the Colts are blowing it up, I would love Braden Smith, their right tackle. Like, let me get the Colts right tackle on the Bears. He would be. Like, I know their O-line's been kind of a mess this year because, like, they can't figure out the left tackle and the center. Ryan Kelly hasn't been that good this year, and the right guard, they've been flipping everything. But, like, I think Braden Smith, if you put him on a consistent O-line, he's a very – like, the last 4 years, Braden Smith's been a hell of a right tackle. So, like, I know these guys have talent. I just think this might be, like, the end of the line type thing with the team, which is unfortunate, but – like I think someone brought it up best at the Colts. They built a team ready for Andrew Luck. And Andrew Luck retired. And they kind of had 4 to try to figure it out.
Yeah, that was...
Because, like, the whole team was built for Luck in 2019. Like, especially after 2018 where he played so well those last, like, 5-6 games. And they almost made – I think they made the playoffs that year. Like, it looked like it was about to be – they were going to turn a corner.
I think what hurt them the most, though, too, was, like, Luck literally waited until the last possible minute. I'm like – see, looking at this injury list, I understand. But at the same time, he literally waited until the last possible second to retire. And they're like, well, yes, we're going with the second string all season. And then they could just never find.
Yeah. It's going to be a really interesting like team to look back on in a couple of years. Because they, like you said, the talent's through the roof on that team. Like, oh my gosh.
Like, a part of me is like, they never should have gotten rid of Brissett in the first place. Because that's who they
wouldn't be bad,
overlook since Luck retired. And
well, I mean, they got Rivers, who was good the 1 year. So
that's true.
That was like
young kids, baby.
That one I could understand, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we could segue into Pierce's
I have
team.
to ask, what do you think about the Chicago Bears acquiring Canadian wide receiver Chase Claypool? I want to hear about it.
I like it.
Oh,
well, Dylan talked me into really liking it. It's a good trade.
Listen, the Bears still need a number 1 receiver. I think that's very clear. But if your 2 is Claypool and your 3 is Mooney, you're cooking with grease. Like that. Claypool's a guy who this season, like I told it to Jimmy, I was like, you look at his like tool set, right? He's a 6'4", 230-pound receiver. You put that guy outside. You put that guy outside the numbers, and you run fades, you run corners, you run stuff that gets him open out on the outside, or you give him 50-50 balls. What do the Steelers do this year? Oh, we're going to put that guy in the slot. We're going to put a 6'4" receiver in the slot and have him run drag routes all day because that's how you utilize that size and skill set.
With
like,
Mitch Trubisky, let's go.
Yeah, Pierce, you get it.
No,
Pierce,
like,
you're already talking your NFL shit. I love it. I really do.
He gets it. Like, I love the move because it shows that this regime has faith in Fields, which they should. Like, if you watch these last 3 games, he is really starting to put it together.
Out he's pretty good. He's pretty good.
Oh man,
Ryan Poles praising him before he had this game was probably the best thing you could hear.
The most praise you can see from Poles is he went out and got a receiver for him. Like, he came out and said, "Listen, the UFA market in 2023 does not look good for a receiver. We're going to go ahead and go make a move now. Go get a guy. Go get him help. Now Claypool gets 9 games with Fields. Well, 8 after this one. But he gets 8 games with Fields to develop chemistry. You see what you have with him. Then you can start making some moves for the O-line. Then you can start making some moves for a number 1 receiver. Then you can fix the defense because they kind of blew up the defense because it's a whole new scheme they're running. Like the Bears are running 3-4 for I think 5 years since Fangio took over in 2014. Oh, a little longer than that probably. So probably like 7 years they've been running a 3-4. They switched back to a 4-3, and that's it's like going from man to zone in hockey. You know what I mean? Like it's a full sail change. You need completely different players to run that system. And the Bears are in that changing in the guard mode right now, but like, oh man, you can't help but be excited with what you've seen. Like he broke the regular season rushing record for a quarterback.
That's crazy. Yeah.
As a year 2 guy who he's, I think 10th in rushing in the league right now as a quarterback. He's got more touchdowns than interceptions. He has more touchdowns than he had all of last year in 12 games.
Clearly the talent's there, I think.
Bro, the talent's always been there, dude. Like
I will say too,
dude.
The hate Fields gets from Bears fans just blows my mind.
It's because every Bears fan wants a quarterback that's going to stack 50 times and throw it 300 yards. That's always what they wanted. Sorry, Fields isn't that, but he still moves the ball just as fucking good. That's like
he's like a second-year player. He's young as hell. He's still learning. He's not going to be perfect, but he's damn good, and he can run the damn ball.
Yeah, do you want a Michael Vick that doesn't abuse dogs? You've got him right here. This is literally the future of the NFL.
And the things that I told you, Jimmy, like they hold true with every quarterback. And I was talking to Chris about this earlier, my friend. I was like, listen, there are like 2 things you really want from your quarterback. You want him to be efficient, and you want him to have those like chances to extend plays. And the 2 ways Fields has shown that he's improved in that regard, he has been remarkable on third down this year, especially in the last couple weeks. I've never been more confident in the Bears to convert a 3rd and 8 in recent memory than I am right now, because he could either just
wild to say that
run, he could pass, he could get a quick pass off, they could even run the ball for 8 yards. Like this offense has been very fluid. And the other thing is like he's becoming efficient in the red zone too. Last year he wasn't making these reads in the red zone on the play action. Like now he's making red zone drives look easy. Once they get inside the 15, he's making those play actions look easy. He's making the run plays look easy. He's making the read option look easy. And that's the tip of the cap to Luke Getsy too, man. Like the OCs really, like the first couple weeks they were running a bit more of a traditional style offense, not a lot of design quarterback runs, not a lot of stuff that really plays the field's strengths. But I'll give them credit. After that little mini bye after the Washington game, they have gone full 180 with this offense. They're taking design runs out of the Ravens playbook, some of the stuff the Texans used to run with Watson, stuff the Bills run with Josh Allen. I've seen a lot of the zone read stuff, and like they're not doing RPOs as much as the Eagles are, but the zone read stuff is a lot of what the Eagles do. It's just a lot of good stuff you're seeing right now from the team, and like, yeah, they're losing, but this is a year where if you're going to lose, like we're going to get a hell of a talent in the top 10. And if they lose,
doesn't it?
Well, yeah, but even if they lose enough, they might be in a spot to where, like, let's say the Bears like win like 1 or 2 more games and they go like 5-12. They could be picking like 3, 4, 5, and some team wants a quarterback, and you trade that pick and go get 3 firsts, because that's how this league works. And I think Ryan Poles the type of guy who knows, like you could just tell by the way he's accumulating assets, he would be the kind of guy to trade down and get more draft capital, because there's more holes to fill than just like one on this team. Offensively, I could think of at least like 4 holes. Like they got both tackles, 1 receiver, and a center. That's like a bare minimum. They need that for next year. Defense has like 7 holes. Like they got full holes to fill, but I have faith. Like that's my rant.
So what you're telling me, there's actually optimism for Chicago sports right now.
Oh, dude, it's like actually fun to watch this shit right now. Like
the Cubs and Sox don't look too bad either where they are at the moment. I mean, shit.
I think I told everyone, or I think I saw a tweet that explained it best. They were like, if you're watching these games the last couple of weeks and you're saying, oh man, the defense sucks, you are completely missing the point of what's happening right now. This quarterback we are actually seeing a Chicago Bears quarterback take developments or actually take those steps in development. Like, Mitch had good games when he was at the Bears. I never watched a Mitch game where I felt that confident in my quarterback like I have in Justin Fields.
I never felt confident in Mitch. I'm not going to lie.
And it's not like Fields is chucking balls in the triple coverage either. You know what I mean? It's like he's protective with the football.
Also, we need to mention perfect dime to Claypool. Horrendous no PI.
So bad.
I need to mention that.
I try not to be the guy that complain too much about like missed flags, but that one, like when you got every other person in the league, including like Dolphins people, being like, "Yeah, that's a bad call." It's like, it might have been a bad call. But oh my God, the Bears getting screwed by refs. I haven't seen this before.
One of my friends who's a really big Vikings fans like texted me. He goes, "Not gonna lie, don't know how that wasn't like pass interference on that third place."
It's bad.
That is because it is the Bears and the refs hate us.
We don't get shit.
Yeah, my brother picked me up from the station today, and we're talking about the Bears, and he's like, "Oh, you see how they got fucked on that last play?" And I'm like, "Yeah, bent over." That was, oh man. I mean, that's one of the more egregious PI calls I've seen in a minute. Yeah. Not just talking Bears. It was pretty bad. But I'm not.
It's just like it's not even that. It's that there was the phantom call that they gave Jackson earlier in the game.
Oh yeah, he was on
Waddle. Mm-hmm. Like you can't call that and then not call the next one. And then it really makes it worse when like you watch the Bucs Rams game where Tom Brady literally gets a PI call and puts him on the 1 yard line with like 30 seconds left. Like you can't tell me you don't make those calls because you just did it for him. So
my boyfriend and I went out to dinner like that night. We were sitting there like watching it because we're at like a kind of like bar kind of restaurant, and he looked away and looked back. He goes, "What happened?" I'm like, a pass interference call that I don't know. Like I kind of wasn't paying too much attention, but it looked questionable. But obviously they're gonna help Brady." And he's like, "The Bucs are gonna win it here, aren't they?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Dude, Brady. Yeah, halftime. Text Goodell, Zellum 300. You're good.
Oh boy. Oh man.
That's funny. But yeah, Bears football's fun right now. Listen, if the Bears are going to lose games, I would much prefer them to lose. Yeah, well, besides that loss to the Browns, Joe Burrow's looked very good. I mean, Jamar Chase is out 6 weeks with that high ankle sprain or whatever, which sucks. Or no, it's a hip. It's a hip. But
that's about as nice of a start to that. Well, this is the first week they're without Chase, right?
Second week. Last week they lost to the Browns, and that was
the Browns. Yeah, that was
the Browns.
Yeah, because Chase being out was the one who actually helped me win in fantasy last week.
It was you. She did it. She put the banana peel by the door.
Because the girl I was playing last week, her team is like stacked. Like she has like Josh Allen. I'm like, cool. I have to play Josh Allen rested. And I'm like, Chase being out is the one thing actually helping me.
She did it, dude. She's a stayed away, dude. She did it. It was her. Oh, okay. Pierce, do you want to talk about Joe Burrow? Because you're allowed to do that. You could just talk about the beautiful space. I'd be perfectly fine with that too.
I like him. He's a good quarterback. Again, a fellow like me don't know much about football, but damn, can he pass that?
Pierce, did he get that ball into the end zone a lot of times?
He did.
Well, this week it was Joe Mixon, but
it was Joe Mixon. 5 touchdowns. That's crazy.
Literally, like
I had to play my boyfriend's brother in fantasy this week, and he has Mixon, and I was like, oh no. He started the season like 0-5 or 0-6, and now he's like coming back, and I'm like, Danny, you can't. Like, no. And then Mixon just went off, and I'm like, well, there goes my shot of winning this week.
Oh, wow.
And I'm still upset about it.
I was sitting there, and I was like, oh, yeah, this sucks that the Dolphins are cooking us. But then I remember I had Tua and Jalen Waddle in fantasy, and I was just like, all right, well,
I have Waddle, so that helped a lot.
Keep doing that. Oh, man. But the Bengals will be fun because I don't know what's going on in that Ravens game right now, but like they're in a really tight race in the Ravens game right now. But like they're in a really tight race in the NFC or the AFC North because like the Ravens are at 27-13 right now, so they're gonna be 6-3. Like they're gonna have to win those division games to really start. The wild card is just a shit show in the AFC right now. There's a bunch of 5-4 teams. There's a couple 6-3 teams. Like it's a bloodbath in the AFC this year, to say the least.
They're in I believe they can pull it off. At least
I will say that Zach Taylor was so hell-bent on getting the run game to work, and it finally worked. So good for him. Oh, my God. The fucking Islanders won. That's so funny.
Noah Dobson.
Matt Barzal has no goals and 15 assists.
Cool.
Whoa. That is a guy
That's actually
playing on a bad team.
Like definition of a playmaker. It's almost like that's what he was when I saw him in fucking Seattle.
Well, over a point per game, it's almost like Barry Trotz being gone allows him to actually play offensive hockey. That's
their whole team's playing offensive hockey right now. All of them. They all look pretty good right now.
And that's the whole thing. Like, it's so interesting to hear you guys talk about other sports because, like, I don't want to be like, I do so much about hockey, but like hockey, like that's been my sport like pretty much my whole life. So it's always
you're kind of like Canadian, dude.
It's interesting. Totally yeah, that too. It's interesting hearing like you guys talk about football when I know nothing of it, and like you know, like I went down this like rabbit hole with baseball, and I'm just like I got hooked into it, and, like watched like I think the championship series, and then watched the World Series, and now I'm like actually like curious, like I want to watch baseball next year, like. I've always wanted to, but it's just like it's 162 games, man. Like it's a lot. Like football, at the very least, it's like they're probably playing Sunday, Monday, Thursday, whatever. They can
every week
to watch that exactly. But we're like baseball, you're playing like 4 games in a row. It's crazy. But like just watching those playoffs, it's like okay, like baseball, like it can be boring, but like at like the drop of a pen, like it just so much shit can happen. Like and again, like I don't know much about it, but like it's fun learning the intricacies. It's like it's nice being like a noob of something, you know, like
which is why we're very happy to announce.
Hockey, like I've watched it my whole life. It's like so it's nice to like be a fan of something new that I haven't really done in my life. Like baseball, like I watched the Blue Jays their 2 runs in 2015-16 where they fell flat each time, although they did lose to the Kansas City, who went on to win the World Series. I still think if the Blue Jays go to the World Series, like if they beat Kansas City, they win the World Series. But 2016, they lost to Cleveland. I would have loved to seen the Blue Jays and the Cubs. That would have been so good. Then there was just like a few years where I'm like, I don't really care. And then this year, I'm just like, I saw like I think it was the anniversary of the Bautista bat flip game. Jeez, I can't talk. Where I remember watching that game in class because it was like an afternoon game, and I'm just like, I remember the whole class going crazy and like my teacher going crazy. I'm like, wow, that's something I'll never forget. And I just like went down this rabbit hole. I mean, you know what? I got to give this a try. And I'm really curious to watch it. Like the reason why I latched on to the Bengals is because they have someone like Joe Burrow, who is a young quarterback who had an amazing year last year, obviously, but like he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL for many years to come. And like the thing with baseball is like there's not a lot of those kind of guys that are like marketable superstars where it's like I
would say there are. It's just the MLB chooses not to market them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah,
like totally. Mike Trout is literally the Connor McDavid story. He's rotted in Anaheim. Like, I need that dude to like really spice up the MLB.
So is Ohtani. Like, they're not trading him in his final year. I saw that.
Brutal.
Yeah. And they're probably not. They're not gonna make the playoffs. Well, yeah, it's. I just want to like. It's funny because the Blue Jays would be a good team because they have such a young and up and coming team. But it's like, do I want to cheer for a Toronto team? Do I want to cheer for a team that choked like that was up 8-0 and then lost 9-8? Like, ooh,
that shit was so funny.
Do I go for Chicago? Do I cheer for one of the Cubs or the White Sox? Like,
okay, man, you got,
the White Sox got a new manager, so that'll be fun.
And I'm just like I'm trying to like go through like I don't think I'll be like a Yankees or Red Sox. I just can't do that.
If you're a Yankees or a Red Sox fan, you are not on this podcast.
You guys, yeah, well, you'll
me being a Leafs fan was already like that was That's as
Yeah,
far
you're
as
lucky I keep you in here. What gives you the right to kick me off my podcast when you're a Leafs fan? Anyway.
Nah, I got nothing. I can't even say shit. No.
So now, to whoever's listening to this, give me suggestions for a baseball team I should cheer for. One, it needs to be a young team, and there needs to be like a couple guys where I'm like, yeah, I can get on with that. Like, well, that's why Toronto I think would be a good thing because they do have Vladdy, even though like the whole thing. Well, or that was just a trailer. It's gonna be a movie this year, and then you blow an 8-0 lead to the Mariners.
It was definitely a movie. There's
yeah. What's so much just like it shows like yeah, it was a movie. Morbius. Anyways, like it's so crazy to me. If like again watching hockey all those years, it's like oh, it's a big contract, and then you look at baseball and like football, it's like oh yeah, this guy's got like $200 million.
Any sport with like actual revenue, yeah,
that has like fans. And then there's like this other thing was like oh, this football game averaged 22 million viewers. I don't know like which one it was, and that's like the World Series is only getting like 12-13 million views, and it's just like that you guys are getting views. You guys are getting paid.
It's so true though.
And like just looking at the free agency, like I didn't even know it. Like it's already started. Like there's already deals like coming in. Like as soon as the World Series end, like you can sign deals. And like just looking at all the teams, like looking at the Yankees, like Benintendi is a free agent. Friggin' Aaron Judge is a free agent. It's crazy. And then like I look at the Dodgers, like I think Kershaw. I don't think he's gonna go anywhere. He'll probably stay with the Dodgers. Like I don't think he'll go to another team. But like just seeing all
he's
like
going to the Leafs, dude. He's going to the Leafs
on that team. It's crazy.
Kyle Dubas actually has been making calls to Kershaw's camp the last week.
Damn, Kyle Stupidus? No way.
Kyle Poo-Poo.
Not as good as Kyle.
Very big moves.
Kyle Pootis.
Kyle Poopis, as I say.
Kyle Poopis pants. What? Anyways.
It's not nice. Don't say that.
Don't say that about Kyle.
Don't say about Kyle. You don't know him like I do.
I know we were just talking about baseball, but like nothing makes me happier than you being into football because like that's my like. I love hockey, but I think football is my true sport. Like I
understand that you're American. That's like it's like that's why.
Well, I played the fucking sport, so it's like it's a little different. Like I love the Hawks. Don't get me wrong.
Hashtag play the game, dude.
Dude, I would trade literally every cup except 2015 for a Bears Super Bowl in my lifetime. I'm sorry. I'm keeping 2015. That cup is so special to me. Yeah. Like everyone I think with the Hawks has their cup that they like latch to. 2015 is the one I latched to.
It's either 2013 or 15.
I was gonna say for you, I think it's 13. I think for Jimmy, Jimmy said it's 13. But like for me, it's 15.
Well, the 13 and the 15 cup runs are so special. But the reason why 13 is so special to me, I moved that year, and like I remember just like I was like in a new, I think it was grade 6. So it was like right before we had to junior high. Like everyone's friends with each other, and like it's so hard to get into groups. So I just remember being so lonely that year, and I'm like the only thing that brought me joy was the Blackhawks just kicking ass the whole year. So that's why 2013 is so special. But like 2015, it's like right behind.
I want to go back in time.
It was even funny, like at school, like in 2015. So we're like, the Hawks are going to win the cup this year. I'm like, oh yeah, they were. I was, dude. If I had Twitter back in 2015, I would have been the most annoying asshole. Dude, going back to it being a 14-year-old, like
I could probably look at my Twitter in 2015, 16. I was a prick in 15, 16. Man.
My Twitter from like 15, 16 got deleted because Twitter found out I wasn't 13 when I made my account.
There you go, Reagan.
That was the same with me too.
Get her off this podcast.
That's awesome.
The one I'm on now is like a newer one.
It's like Mila Kunis going on the 70s show when she was too young.
13, 14, 15, 16. I was probably so fucking annoying.
I just remember complaining about Corey Perry a lot. I just really hated that man. Yeah.
Dude, I lived in Tampa when the Hawks beat Tampa. Nothing is going to beat that for me. Ever. I had my whole senior year of high school with unlimited fucking bragging rights, no matter what. Amazing. Like anytime anyone wanted to talk hockey with me, I had them by the balls because my team fucking ran their shit without Taves and Kane doing a fucking thing, which I think doesn't get enough credit, honestly. Like,
I just remember
they were invisible that final. They were not there.
Oh, but Tyler Johnson broke his wrist. Oh, but Ben Bitch. I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care. Johnny Oduya had one fucking arm. Like, I don't care. Here's what I always talk about it, dude.
Yeah.
Just a little jab of the stick.
Yeah. Stop that.
Yeah.
No, it was Crawford in that top four that won the cup for them.
Oh, 100%.
Specifically Duncan Keith. Like,
that was like the only cup in recent memory that I could think of where like 4 defensemen were the riding horses for the
I'm
cup.
sorry, but like Duncan Keith, that still doesn't get talked to. Like again, say what
Dude, there's a reason that guy was my favorite player for the longest time. Like he is a fucking dog. Like that's the best way you can describe it. He's a fucking dog. Like
they rode that fourth line till the fucking cows came home. That was.
He
Man,
wants
talk about
so
every
good
line.
could gallop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. That's the nice thing. We can actually talk about different cups. Like, be like, yeah, 2013 is my favorite cup. Like, a lot of fans can't even be like, oh, we won a playoff series one time.
And this is exactly why I'd trade a couple of those for a Bears Super Bowl. I would do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like, people think the city got crazy when the Cubs won. No.
Oh, imagine the Bears win.
No, dude, this is Bears fucking city. It's always
and like, what have I always told you? Like, I think I've said this to Pierce a couple times. I said it to Jimmy a couple times. I don't know if I said it to you, Reagan, but it's like, this is why, like, if you're good on the Bears in Chicago, you literally will have it easier than anywhere in the fucking country. You will be treated like a fucking god if you're good in this city. And I don't think people realize that. Like, like it's the same thing with like. I know they are extremely passionate and go out of line a lot, but it's the same thing with Philly. Like, you win in Philly, you're going to be a fucking god in that city. Like, Doug Peterson has a fucking statue with Nick Foles. Like,
I didn't know that.
It means something.
If the Phillies won that won the World Series.
Oh, they would have been a Bryce Harper statue, 100%.
Yeah. Kyle Schwarber, baby.
Yeah.
Because he was the only guy hitting in that World Series.
They couldn't hit a fucking...
No hitter, and
that Astros bullpen was unbelievable.
I know. Like their ERA was like under 1. Like it was like 0.8. Like that's
the only times they almost lost are because Verlander was a little choke artist. Jesus.
I know. Like
again,
just going like through the MLB lore. I guess like everyone's like, oh, Clayton Kershaw, like he chokes. Like he won a World Series before No, he did what I don't know, but like he had better stats. It's like Verlander's like he on a whole entire different level of battle. Like he lost that first game for sure. Like when they're up 5-0. But other than that, and then McCullers too in game 3,
dealing
when he gave up like 5 runs. But like other than that, I think it was like a brave. Like oh my god, like that bullpen was ridiculous. Like
their bullpen was too fucking good. Like it's just the way it is. Like. Jordan finally had the biggest hit he needed in the biggest game. Like they're a loaded fucking roster at the end of the day. Like they were gonna you can only lose in the World Series so many times before you win.
Dude, that was their 5th trip in like 6 years.
They run the American League. They run the American League. Like I don't know if like you remember last October. Like I should have been so excited for the White Sox making the playoffs last year. Like it should have been great. But I remember I kept looking at everyone, and I was like, they lost enough games where they're going to have to play the Yankees or the fucking Astros in the first round, and I hate that so much. And guess what? They had the Astros round 1, and they ran their fucking shit.
Like, was that this year or last year?
Last year.
Oh.
They lost in 4, and they lost like 10-1 in the last game. It was not good. Like,
well, thank God at least they haven't won. Like Atlanta won last year, and then the Nationals won in 2019.
The Nationals won special. Like everyone wants to talk about that as a miracle run, but like people just need to realize that Nationals roster was fucking loaded. Like, dude, they had 3 Hall of Fame pitchers.
Like Scherzer, Strasburg, and then like you look at their batters. Like they had Howie Kendrick.
Anthony Rendon could have been MVP of the NL that year. Mm-hmm. Like Trey Turner was a young guy. Like Juan Soto was a 20-year-old on that fucking team. Like, oh, dude,
man. he's like I think he's younger than my sister is. Like I think they're born the same year.
There's young chillins. Yeah, baseball's fun though when it wants to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the thing about it. It's like it can be the most boring sport. Like I'll be watching, and I'll be like, oh, geez. But then like, and like the matter of like
one pitch,
one swing of the bat, one strikeout, like just momentum can change so quickly. But yeah, definitely. Like I'm gonna try. Like I'm obviously not gonna watch all 162 games next year, but like I'll try my best to watch around and really like again understand the intricacies of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I think that's all. That's it. We do have a couple of Twitter questions before we wrap this up. We are hitting like 2 hours almost, so we'll quickly wrap it up. I know it's like Reagan, I'm sorry. I know it's like you're getting close to midnight.
It's okay. I'm just gonna go to bed.
Okay. For sudden death, we kind of the thing is we kind of touched on these two questions. This is from our good pal Jacob. Biggest surprise so far? Yeah, we kind of touched on it, but like,
I'm just gonna say Jason Dickinson.
Reiterate it. Gabe Velarde.
Yeah. I don't think Jack Eichel's a surprise, but well, you know what? I'll go with. I'm gonna agree with Reagan. Yes, for Brad. Like
That's what I was gonna say.
Earlier. Well, no, like I remember you brought it up earlier. So. Jason Dickinson, your son, yes, sir.
Let's go!
Laffy Taffy. Let's fucking go, baby.
Dickinson and Laffy. How about those two? Dick and your Laffy Taffy.
Dick and your Laffy Taffy. And there you go, folks. There's the podcast name.
No.
Dick and your Laffy Taffy. New PJScast episode. Get excited, Leafs Nation.
Let Jimmy name an episode. First idea.
Last question is from this fella. His name is 5-star Rasputin, just dance dancer.
Sounds like a neat
fellow. Pending question mark 4 times?
Dylan Wells primacy. Anyways.
I just want to say, like, I'm very optimistic about the goaltending for the future. They not only they have Soderblom, they have Comesso. So
what was that?
I need Comesso to get rolling at VU though. It seems like he's in a little bit of a tandem issue right now with the goaltending, so I need him to get some starts.
Sorry, my bad, Pierce.
No, but we got Dominic Bosse at St. Cloud State.
Let's go!
6th round pick.
Dominic Bussin, more like him.
All right, be nice.
Alex Stalock is the future in that. So
you know what? You are so real for that. So right.
Thank you. But yeah, Soderblom is. I don't know. I was pretty high on him when they got them. Just hearing what a lot of scouts had to say. I mean, he looked great in the AHL last year. Looked kind of shaky in the NHL as you'd expect, but holy shit, he looks good. And I can't wait to see him next year. Hopefully with a somewhat better roster.
Yeah,
I still think he should spend another year or 2 in Rockford. Like as long as he's not waiver eligible, keep him in Rockford.
You know what, Pierce? I'm impatient. I need to see the team win now.
Wow. I think you'd fit great in the front office. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think the goaltend, like they obviously don't have like a Wallstedt like level goalie, but it's a set. Like you have 2 decent shots at a goaltending, and like it's such voodoo.
Dude, yeah,
you could fall.
It's voodoo, dude. Like I think. I feel like a goaltending prospect, like having a high-end goaltending prospect, is probably the one thing that you don't need to have in your cupboard. You can find those, at the end of the day, I feel like those
they found Soderblom in Sweden. Like the Blackhawks have actually had are one of the like teams in the NHL that's been so lucky with goalies. Like they can find a way to find a goalie, but like just from a pure prospect standpoint, like you can be happy like with Soderblom.
Oh yeah,
Comesso, like without having that high end goalie prospect. Oh, by Schmitty.
Tall Daddy Dominic is obviously the future of the Hawks. So
wait, who?
Tall Daddy Dominic Bassey, baby.
Oh, okay. I heard something else. The defense is set as well. Like the goaltending and defense is about as set as you can be, and like the draft with all their picks in the first, like 6 picks in the first 3 rounds, they gotta draft forwards, which I think they will.
Hey, listen, on the bright side of the Hawks being where they are right now, they are in prime Andrew Crystal range if they are going to stick around this point. They are in prime Andrew. And they're watching him because Colton's playing with him in fucking Kelowna. So they're how much the Hawks like drafting guys that they're already watching. They did it with Aiden Thompson in Duluth, or is it Aiden Thompson or which one is it that's playing in Duluth?
Both of them, Aiden Thompson, Dominic James. They're both Lincoln Stars.
I think Aiden Thompson is Denver, and then I think Dominic James is Duluth, I believe.
Yes.
That's what I'm thinking of. Dominic James plays where Kaiser's playing. So, like, they like picking guys where they've already seen good film on them. Andrew Crystal seems like it's going to become an option real soon, and I'm very excited about that. Mm-hmm.
See, that's the thing about this draft. Like look at the 2015 and 2019 draft. Those are like the two draft classes I see recently. And it's like, okay, if you don't get a top end pick, like number 9 pick in 2019 was Trevor Zegras. Like you can find guys
Good plur.
out of like the top 5. Like Frank Nazar, like again, he hasn't played this year. Like it's gonna take time for him, especially with that injury. But like just everything you've heard about him, like that could be a steal at number 13.
Oh, just going off of value and the upside. I mean, that's a fantastic pick at 13. Very Matt Barzal like, I'd say. That's.
And then like 2015, yeah, literally like Mikko Rantanen went at like that around that spot, and like Timo Meier and like Matt Barzal, like this draft class is so good, they're gonna get someone good. Like, and that's the thing. Like I'm
at least one. Like there's, I don't know, going
and then
based
seeing
off
how
of the
they
draft
drafted
this year.
And then seeing how they drafted this year, like I'm really optimistic of like how they're gonna draft in this upcoming year. Because they actually like have a style, and like they actually picked players with skill. Korchinski and Nazar, and even like their second round picks and third round picks.
Green and Hayes. There's a couple of guys. Those are 4 first 5 picks right there.
You know what? That was an awesome podcast. I'm so glad I get to do this with you guys. I hope we can do this more often. I understand it's tough because we are adults. We have lives. We have jobs. We have obligations. Blah 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 blah. But you know what? Just as I've said a million times on this podcast, you gotta cherish the times you have. So I was glad to do this podcast with you guys. I forgot what else I was going to say.
Let's close this puppy out.
Yeah, let's close this out. I got to work early tomorrow, and then
Reagan's already in her dark side era.
Reagan. You're
it's 11:30 here already. I gotta get up.
We're ready.
We'll wrap it up. Okay, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna smash that like button on YouTube. Subscribe, and guess what? You're gonna turn on that bell for notifications. So you
ring that bell.
Ring that bell, and then you are gonna go to your preferred podcast platform, whether that's Spotify or Apple Podcast. You know what? They're on both, so you can do whatever the fuck you want. But whatever you do, leave a 5-star rating, and if not, and leave a good review, and if not, then.
That's okay. That's fine.
Then
it's all right.
Cool. Bye.
So, thank you for tuning in. You are wonderful. Oh, by the way, if you're in the United States of America, vote tomorrow, please. Please. And enjoy the rest of your night.